My sister left. She said she will find you 3 days later at the Pill Association, Jing Yingming said uncomfortably while watching Yimo and Ning Qingxue. My sister left. She said she will find you 3 days later at the Pill Association, Jing Yingming said uncomfortably while watching Yimo and Ning Qingxue. Yimo felt a little sad. He wanted to tell her to go back with him. She clearly knew that he came for her but left. Clearly, she wouldn't live back at that small yard of Xingda. Yimo wanted to call out to Gu Wanqian and Xingda, but found they were already surrounded by cultivators. Gu Wanqian was full of bliss. He felt his decision was very wise. If he didn't serve Yimo as master before, there was no way he would be able to serve Yimo as master now. There were too many people who wanted to be Yimo's disciple, but only he succeeded. Xingda, who stood next to Gu Wanqian, had a red face. Since when did those high-up pill master and pill kings, as well as high-level cultivators, care about a foundation establishment state cultivator like her? Now because her master was a level 7 pill king, they all came. Yimo didn't call the two and took Ning Qingxue back to the yard by himself. When they came to the bedroom, Yimo embraced Ning Qingxue and said apologetically, "Sorry, Qingxue. I offended the Lightning Cloud sect and Infinity sect, so I didn't dare to contact you. I was afraid." "I know." Ning Qingxue blocked Yimo's mouth with her lips. She already knew that Yimo didn't come for her and Sister Luoying because he had his reasons. She could feel Yimo's worry and longing for her. Yimo stopped his explanation and carried Ning Qingxue up without hesitation. The temperature in the room started to escalate, and Ning Qingxue was already lost in Yimo's arms. After this long-awaited reunion, her emotions were all over the place. She forgot about everything as her body shivered and moaned in Yimo's arms. Ning Qingxue's soft and aromatic body made Yimo unable to control himself. Soft emotions like water, reunion like a dream. The outside world had calmed down now, and there was no more conversation between the two, but this tranquility said more than all the words could say. Ning Qingxue had never slept so comfortably like today. Before, all she did other than think about Yimo and her parents was cultivation. This morning, she woke up to find Yimo staring at her. She just realized that her dress had been ripped apart and felt a little embarrassed. After she came out with Yimo, Gu Wanqian and Xingda were already waiting to greet their new mistress. Ning Qingxue quite liked Xingda. These few days, Yimo started teaching Gu Wanqian spirit sense pill spell and basic whirlpool technique. Although the whirlpool pill concoction technique originated from the illusion cloud sword technique, Yimo felt it was impracticable to teach Gu Wanqian the sword technique. He separated the whirlpool pill concoction method from the illusion cloud sword technique and formed a unique pill concoction system. Then, he taught that Gu Wanqian. As for Ning Qingxue's cultivation method, he had decided to change it after she reached nascent soul state to a new cultivation method birthed from the 3-birth chant, 3-birth Godwater chant. Ning Qingxue was pure water spirit root, but she started cultivation late and wasn't as good as other pure spirit root cultivators. However, that was no problem to Yimo. Yimo believed that her cultivation speed wouldn't be slower than Su Jingguan after cultivating this. Before seeing Yimo, Ning Qingxue worked hard on cultivation, but she felt something was missing. Now that she was with Yimo, she didn't have that feeling in her cultivation progress soared. Although Yimo didn't have Dihua Beast in her core, he had lots of blue wind pills, and that was enough for Ning Qingxue's cultivation. The only pity was that he knew from Ning Qingxue that Luoying was in solitary cultivation. Even so, Yimo still decided to see the people from Black Ice Sect when he went to the Pill Association and asked them about Luoying. The second day after the Pill King tournament, Yimo was persuading Ning Qingxue to change the storage ring because she was still using the ordinary storage ring he made at Luoyu City. However, Gu Wanqian came in at this moment saying that the sect leader of Lightning Forgery Sect was here. Yimo dazed. He didn't arrange for a meeting. With his current status, ordinary sects wouldn't just come up and visit. Yimo didn't think much. He became famous to seek protection, not to show off. It was better for the current him to know some more people. When Gu Wanqian brought in 2 cultivators, Yimo immediately remembered the Lightning Forgery Sect and why they came to visit him. They were probably scared that he would look for trouble with them. The Golden Course State Peak Stage cultivator at the back was clearly Huang Yushan. He knew him from the Herb Valley and made him pay the road toll with spirit herbs. Huang Yushan got 3 5-color lotus, and he took 2. Indeed, with his current status, he didn't even need to do anything himself to look for trouble with a 6-star sect. But Yemo never thought about looking for trouble for them. Even if he did, he would only look for trouble with Huang Yushan, not his sect. Plus, he already forgot about this long time ago. The sect leader was a red-faced cultivator. He was Hollow Spirit State peak stage, and he immediately saluted with his fists when he saw Yemo. Lightning Forgery Sect's Dong Xinming greets Pil King Yi. I brought my delinquent disciple Huang Yushan to ask for forgiveness. Yemo waved his hand, wanting to say he didn't care at all when Dong Xinming took out a 5-colored lotus and said, "We don't have anything good. I heard that Pil King Yi was collecting Lodi, so we've brought a 5-color lotus. Please don't reject us." "This is a 5-color lotus," Gu Wenxian exclaimed. It was just a level 5 spirit herb, but as a Pil King, of course Gu Wenxian knew its value. Yemo never intended to take anything from Dong Xinming, but after seeing the 5-color lotus, he stopped his words mid-sentence. Only Yemo knew the real value of the 5-color lotus. Yemo took it without hesitation. He then saluted with his fists to Dong Xinming. "Sect leader Dong, I do need this indeed, thank you. But accepting this has nothing to do with Brother Huang. I've already forgotten about the things at the herb plain. Don't worry, I will soon go back to Amoyu City. If the Lightning Forgery Sect needs my help, please come to Amoyu City. I will do what I can." Dong Xinming rejoiced. He was just coming to ask for forgiveness. Of course he wanted to connect with Yemo, but without a special reason a 6-star sect had no right to connect with a level 7 Pil King. But since Yemo said this, it meant that he approved of their sect connecting with Amoyu City. The Lightning Forgery Sect was a 6-star sect, but they had 2 body condensation state peak stage elders. However, they didn't have the Kuan filling pill to break through. If they got Kuan filling pill, the Lightning Forgery Sect might be able to ascend to a 7-star sect. Realizing this, Dong Xinming didn't dare to waste time. He quickly thanked Yemo and left with Huang Yushan. He was going back to his sect to prepare spirit herbs to ask Yemo to concoct Kuan filling pill. Luckily, after that, no one else came to visit Yemo. They probably all knew that Yemo was having a reunion with his wife and didn't want to disturb them. 3 days passed quickly, and Yemo brought Gu Wenxian to the Pill Association. They were all top 50, so they had to concoct pills for 3 days. Ning Qingxue and Xian Jida stayed in the yard to cultivate. Yemo, just when they got to the door of the Pill Association, they were stopped by an extremely pretty nun. Yemo was sure that he had never seen a nun this pretty. Not even Ling Xiaoshuang was as pretty as this. The nun spoke again. "I'm Shan Bingfeng. You might not know me, but you've probably heard of my disciple, Ling Xiaoshuang." Yemo didn't say anything. He didn't need to worry about anyone trying to harm him. "I want to chat with you alone." Shan Bingfeng smiled again. Yemo nodded to Gu Wenxian and said, "You go in first. I will have a chat with this Shan Qianbei." As soon as Gu Wenxian came to the Pill Association, a large group of people surrounded him. They were either sect leaders, or at the very least body condensation state cultivators. There were no weak or low-status people here, but Gu Wenxian knew that these people were here for his master. As soon as Gu Wenxian came to the Pill Association, a large group of people surrounded him. They were either sect leaders, or at the very least body condensation state cultivators. There were no weak or low-status people here, but Gu Wenxian knew that these people were here for his master. Gu Wenxian could only tell them that his master has some temporary business and would be here in a while. Usually, if some other people dared to say this, they would have already raged. But for this new level 7 Pill King, they didn't dare to say anything. They all expressed that they didn't mind waiting. In a room not far away in a pill rest tower, Shan Bingfeng poured a cup of spirit tea for Yemo, making Yemo even more confused. In Yemo's perspective, she was at least disaster transformation state. But Yemo didn't think that she came to him for pill concoction. He felt that she wasn't the type to suck up to people even if they were a level 7 Pill King. Plus, even if he wanted to help her, he wasn't able to concoct disaster transformation state peak stage pills. What shocked Yemo even more was that Shan Bingfeng didn't say anything after pouring the tea. She just smiled and looked at him from head to toe, then toe to head. Yemo was getting shivered. He suddenly thought of Qin Muxin's master. Did this Shan Bingfeng have the same idea and try to persuade Ling Xiaoshuang to be his wife? But the entire Pill City knew that Ning Qingxue was his wife. There was no way she didn't know. Yi Mo looked at Shan Bingfeng and suddenly thought, if he had to choose, he might choose this Shan Bingfeng rather than her disciple. But then Yi Mo thought, what was he thinking? Shan Bingfeng was a disaster transformation state cultivator. Who knows how old she was? Plus, how could he choose another woman? Shan Bingfeng suddenly said, I called you here not to marry Xiao Shuang to you, nor do I want to marry you myself. Huh. Yi Mo had never felt so awkward before. His face even blushed. He wasn't vigilant of her and let her see through his heart. Thinking about this, Yi Mo collected his thoughts and didn't dare to think much. Shan Bingfeng smiled. It's not that I can read your mind, but that I saw you weren't focused and guessed what you thought through your expression. You don't need to worry. It's normal that you had such thoughts. Yi Mo regained his composure and said with a little embarrassment, I was thinking randomly. Please don't mind Xian Bei. Yi Mo wasn't sure if she really guessed his thoughts through expression, but he knew that she must have used some mind-reading ability. Since she already knew, he might as well admit it. But Yi Mo didn't mind. That only happened because he wasn't alert. Shan Bingfeng smiled. If you have a good impression of Xiao Shuang, I can help you with a few words. Yi Mo quickly waved his hand. No, I feel nothing towards her. That was true. He really didn't have any intentions for other women. Shan Bingfeng nodded, seeing that Yi Mo was being genuine. She asked, You've tried the Golden Core State trial tablet at South Peace City? Yi Mo heard this and breathed easy. Yes, I have. But my power was limited and I wasn't able to leave my name behind. Yi Mo said this and immediately knew his guess was right. The person who tried after him must have been Ling Xiaoshuang. Shan Bingfeng shook her head. No, it's not that your power wasn't strong enough, but your power amongst people of the same level is too absurd, causing the soar into existence White Jade Tablet to appear. The White Jade Tablet won't show your name, but now that you can protect yourself, the tablet probably shows your name if I'm not wrong. Soar into existence? Yi Mo frowned. He did see a White Jade Tablet, but that tablet didn't have his name on it. Did his name really appear now? That's right. The annihilation divine damnation at South Peace State a year ago was also caused by you, right? With this, Yi Mo immediately reacted. The divine damnation when he ascended to nascent soul state wasn't 4-9 divine damnation, but 9-9 divine damnation. That was indeed an annihilation divine damnation. Shan Bingfeng looked at Yi Mo's expression and knew she guessed right. She sighed. I've heard of the annihilation divine damnation, but I've never heard of anyone who could survive it. You're the first cultivator I know to have survived the annihilation divine damnation. Yi Mo smiled. I happen to have a few good defense magic artifacts. I was lucky. Shan Bingfeng shook her head. Those who pass the annihilation divine damnation don't do so due to luck. With the appearance of the White Jade Tablet, it means you're the person to face the great disaster, the great change or disaster of the cultivation realm. Yi Mo was dazed. Did the heavens give him the great task of defending against the disaster of the Luo Yu continent? This was a bit too bullshit. He immediately said, Shan Qianbei, I need to face the great calamity of the cultivation realm? Shan Bingfeng's face sunk and immediately said, No, the calamity came because of you. If it wasn't for you, the Luo Yu cultivation realm wouldn't face such a big calamity, at least not now. The calamity was brought forward because of you. You did those bad things. It's not a stretch to say you deserve to die. Hearing this, Yi Mo immediately became uncomfortable and his tone also went cold. All I've ever done is fight for my cultivation. I've never done anything morally wrong. Even if there is a calamity of the cultivation realm, what does that have to do with me? I don't dare to take that accusation, Shan Qianbei. Shan Bingfeng realized her tone was over the top. After all, Yi Mo's fame was greater than hers right now, so she subconsciously softened her tone. Think about it. Did you touch some seal or encounter something unexplainable? Yi Mo suddenly thought of that octagonal seal in the all-herb mountain ranges, as well as that terrifying space-devouring spirit in the herb plain. The invisible killing force of the Truth Fall Palace Level 7. He even got his mist lotus heart fire in a strange way. It was quite possibly that someone was growing it there. Was the cultivation realm going to face a great disaster because he touched those things? Yi Mo didn't hide things except for how he got his mist lotus heart fire. A master like Shan Bingfeng wouldn't lie to him, and so he didn't need to hide it. Hearing this, Shan Bingfeng indeed frowned. After a moment, she said, "My words were a bit over the line just then, but you don't need to blame yourself. I'm experienced in fortune-telling, but it's my master who told me that the great calamity of the cultivation realm would come once the soar into existence tablet appears. If you didn't touch those seals and let those things in the herb plane and killing chi at the Truth Fall Palace come out themselves, it would mean that they are fully matured, and that would cause an even greater disaster. From that aspect, you did something good. It might cause less slaughter, but who knows? Regardless, as a level 7 pill king, I hope you can really contribute when the great disaster comes." Yemo quickly said, "I will do all I can." Then, Shan Bingfeng said, "I suggest you go see Lu Wu Hu Qin Bei. It will benefit you." "Why?" Yemo blurted out. Shan Bingfeng just said, "You will know once you go. I can't say the specifics, it's just a premonition." Shan Bingfeng just said, "You will know once you go. I can't say the specifics, it's just a premonition." Yemo quickly asked, "Shan Qianbei, I have one thing to ask." Shan Bingfeng nodded and didn't speak. Yemo quickly said, "I actually came from a place outside Luoyu. That place is called Earth. When I first came, I came through a teleportation formation. I'm thinking that since this teleportation formation can teleport to Luoyu, it must be laid by some powerful being of Luoyu continent. I want to ask if there's a way to go back to Earth." Yemo didn't really care if he went back or not, but after seeing Qingxue, he could tell she missed home. So did Su Jingwen. If possible, Yemo wanted to take them back to visit. "You're not from Luoyu continent?" Shan Bingfeng looked at Yemo in surprise. Yemo nodded. "Yes, but Wan Bei came after that teleportation formation activated. Many people from where I came also came over too." "There's such a teleportation formation?" Shan Bingfeng frowned. Yemo agreed. "Yes, this teleportation formation is divided into two parts. One is from my home to a small world. That teleportation formation is a 7-star formation. One from the small world to Luoyu continent. That formation is 9-star and a random location teleportation formation." After thinking for a long while, Shan Bingfeng said, "I've never seen a 7-star teleportation formation, but I've seen a 9-star formation. But it's not a teleportation formation. 10,000 years ago, there was also an absurdly talented prodigy. His name was Chu Juyu." When Shan Bingfeng said this name, Yemo immediately asked, "Qianbei, are you talking about the forever #1 on the nascent soul state trial tablet?" Shan Bingfeng nodded. "That's right, it's him." It could be said that up until now, no cultivator who had ascended to an immortal could reach his level. He offended an extremely powerful and respected truth realization state, peak stage cultivator at the time. That master invited more than 100 masters to attack him. Those 100 masters were all truth realization state cultivators. Even so, that didn't stop him. After he broke through the surrounding, he didn't run and instead fought back. In the end, all of the 100 truth realization state masters died. Ever since then, no one dared to mess with him. Yemo thought about this and couldn't help feeling admiring and longing. He just killed a 9-star sect's disciple, and he had to go hide everywhere. On the other hand, that guy slaughtered the 100 truth realization state cultivators who ganged up on him. Shan Bingfeng continued, "The reason I'm talking about this Chu Juyu is because he's not only a powerful master, but also the #1 formation grandmaster of Luoyu continent. He was at the level of setting up immortal formations. It was said that he could set up an immortal formation all by himself. His best formation was the 9-star formation. He lived in a village called the 9-star village. The attack and defense formation of the 9-star village is called the 9-star defense and attack formation. After Chu Juyu was rejected by the immortal Dao and couldn't ascend, he just broke through the space barrier of Luoyu continent and stepped into the void. It's not known where he went, but the 9-star village remains. Even now, the defense formation is perfectly fine. Where is the 9-star village now?" Yemo immediately asked. He felt that the formation at the Small World and Duanheng ranges were related to Chu Juyu. If that was the case, then after Chu Juyu stepped into the void, he didn't get to the immortal realm but Earth. Then, he wanted to come back to Luoyu continent. He even set up the formation, but for some reason he didn't come back. Shan Bingfeng shook her head. The 9-star village doesn't exist anymore. A few thousand years ago, it was changed to the Fish Jump Through Dragon Gate village. After the village leader died, it was controlled by a worker in the village whose surname is Nangong. Now, the 8-star sect Nangong village is the Fish Jump Through Dragon Gate village from before, which is the 9-star village. It's where the South Peace State 10 Beauties Nangong Shaodai is at? Yimo asked. Shan Bingfeng smiled. You seem very into the South Peace State 10 Beauties. That's right, that's the village she's at. Yimo felt awkward. He was indeed very familiar with the South Peace State 10 Beauties. Shan Bingfeng took out a skin-made map and gave it to Yimo. This is a place I went in my early years. There's a spirit marrow pond there. You can go look for it after you reach Hollow Spirit State. If you can find it, then with your talent you can reach Body Condensation State in the shortest time. If possible, bring some out for Xiaoshuang. Yimo was shook. Spirit marrow pond map, Shan Bingfeng just gave it to him like that. Cultivators could digest the spirit chi of that faster without side effects. If he had a huge spirit marrow pond, Yimo was sure he would be able to reach Hollow Spirit State in less than half a year. Of course, he needed adequate amount of spirit marrow. Usually, spirit marrow pond came with spirit crystals. With such good things, why did Shan Bingfeng give it to him instead of her disciple? You want to ask why I didn't give it to Xiaoshuang, right? In fact, I really want it. Her talent is first grade, but it's far from yours. It would take her a long time before she reaches Hollow Spirit State, but I'm sure you will be able to reach Hollow Spirit State in 5 years. Other than that, Chu Juyu, you're the fastest progressing cultivator I know, Shan Bingfeng explained. Yimo knew what she meant. She wanted him to cultivate faster so he could help when the great disaster came. Realizing this, Yimo was touched by Shan Bingfeng's selflessness. He felt there were still a lot of cultivators with high morality in the cultivation realm, just like Old Man Kongyi, Xinguanqing, Yu Qichao, Jiling, and this Shan Bingfeng. Yes, Wan Bei will do my best. Yimo took the map respectfully. Even if the disaster had nothing to do with him, he couldn't just watch from the side. Shan Bingfeng nodded. I won't waste your time. Go do what you need to do. Please take care of Xiaoshuang a little at Mou City. Yes, Wan Bei will be leaving. Yimo got up and left. When Yimo got to the Pill Association door, he thought of the fish jump through Dragon Gate thing again. He had an incomplete 8-trigram fish. He was missing the 2 shards of the fish tail. He wondered if that was related to the fish jump through Dragon Gate village. If he knew this earlier, he would have spent more time to go to Japan and complete the piece. When Yimo came to the Pill Association, the cultivators waiting for him were already desperate and finally breathed easy when they saw Yimo come. Luckily, not many people had the right to ask him for pill concoction. It had to be a sect leader of at least Body Condensation State. With the help of the Heaven Flame, everyone who asked him for pill concoction left in satisfaction 2 days later. He even concocted a cauldron of heaven-grade level 7 cauldron filling pills for the Godwind Valley. Although there were no special grade pills, he had 5 top-grade and 1 middle-grade pills. Yimo was very happy with this, and so was the Godwind Valley. 2 days passed quickly, and pretty much all the big sects have come to Yimo for pill concoction, except for Infinity and Lightning Cloud sect. Yimo guessed that they probably knew what he did. However, the Black Ice sect didn't come. This made Yimo quite confused. He was waiting for them to come. The 3rd day, before Yimo began pill concoction, there was a ruckus outside. He scanned his spirit sense out and saw a middle-aged man and woman causing a scene outside with the guard. Yimo wasn't planning to go out, but when he saw they were Body Condensation State, he walked out. City Lord Yi. The 2 guards immediately bowed. What is it? Yimo asked in confusion. Usually those cultivators who came to him were very polite and even a little anxious. But these 2 were completely different. Hearing this, one guard quickly said, City Lord Yi, these 2 didn't make an appointment, but they want to force their way here to find you. So I stopped them. Hearing this, one guard quickly said, City Lord Yi, these 2 didn't make an appointment, but they want to force their way here to find you. So I stopped them. Even though Yimo did free pill concoctions, one had to make appointments to see him and had to have a certain status. Lin Yibin greets Pill King Yi. This is my wife Su Tong. The middle-aged man quickly saluted with his fists. Yimo studied the two. Lin Yibin looked average and was short, but Su Tong was an extremely pretty woman. She was on par with Qiu Shui. The two really didn't match, but they seemed to love each other. Yimo saluted with his fists. Brother Lin, because these few days are free, there are many people who come to me for pill concoction. If you want to be part of it, you can make an appointment. Even if the appointments are full, I will make an exception and concoct pills for you once. Yimo just saw Qingshui again and had a good resonance with happy couples. Lin Yibin heard this and immediately saluted with his fists. Thank you for your kindness, Pill King Yi, but I came with my wife not for pill concoction but for something else. If Pill King Yi is not willing, I will leave immediately and won't affect your business. Lin Yibin didn't say what it was, but he really did seem to be in trouble, so Yimo nodded. In that case, come in with your wife and tell me. Thank you, Pill King Yi. Lin Yibin saluted with his fists. The two guards saw that Yimo agreed, so they didn't say anything. They just continued to guard outside. The restrictions inside this room was powerful enough to stop disaster transformation state cultivators. Yimo let the two sit down and said, Please tell me now what you need me for. Pill King Yi, my wife and I came to join you. Lin Yibin bowed to Yimo. It was quite something for a body condensation state to bow to a nascent soul state cultivator like this, even though Yimo was a level 7 Pill King. Yimo was a level 7 Pill King now, and there were too many people trying to join him. He wouldn't care about two body condensation states saying this. Plus, he had offended a lot of people. Who knew if they genuinely came to join him? Seeing that Yimo didn't talk, Lin Yibin suddenly reached out a hand and said, I, Lin Yibin, swear to the heavens that if anything I said today is false, I will never be able to successfully pass divine damnation, and the divine damnation will disintegrate my soul. Hearing this, Yimo was moved. This was the most serious type of oath for cultivators. Then Su Tong said, I, Su Tong, say the same as my husband. If my husband said anything false, my soul will also be disintegrated by divine damnation. Yimo continued, Even if you want to join me, such an oath won't be necessary. Is there something else? Lin Yibin nodded. Yes, Pill King Yi, we have nowhere else to go. Lin Yibin said, We're on the must-kill list for the Lightning Cloud sect. We've been hiding everywhere. This Pill King tournament, we wanted to come here and get some pills and keep hiding, but we've been found by the Lightning Cloud sect's people. But in the Pill City, they can't do anything. Now that the Pill King tournament is over, we can't stay here forever, so we came here seeking your protection. Yimo exclaimed to himself, this Lightning Cloud sect was so domineering, two body condensation state cultivators were forced with nowhere to go. Yimo nodded. There are so many Pill Kings in the Pill City. Why choose me? Lin Yibin immediately said, Our power isn't really high in the Pill City, so other people might not take us seriously. Other Pill Kings won't offend a 9-star sect for us too. But Pill King Yi is not only a level 7 Pill King, but also the City Lord of Mou City. You will need people to help you, so we chose you. Yimo sneered, Other people are scared of offending 9-star sects. Although I'm level 7 Pill King, I'm only nascent soul state power. How come I dare to offend them? Su Tong suddenly spoke. Pill King Ye's name suddenly appeared in the White Jade Tablet of South P City Golden Core State Trial Tablet. You're the first of Golden Core State Trial Tablet. It's said that Pill King Yi left that night suddenly. Tian Alfing was killed in the Heartless Sea. That night, the Lightning Cloud sect came to South P City for investigation. Many people already guessed that Tian Alfing's incident is related to Pill King Yi. Yimo suddenly laughed. Great, in that case, come back with me to Mou City. We have a common enemy, so we're friends. My principle is that if you respect me 1 inch, I will respect you 1 meter. But there was something Yimo didn't say. If you harm me once, I will hurt you 10 times. But he didn't need to say it, as the two both understood. After the two left, Yimo started thinking about his Mou City. He knew that they were genuinely here to join him, but the power difference between them was too great. With this, sometimes he couldn't ask them for help for secret things. Yimo shook his head and sighed. He would arrange for the two to go to Mou City first. As for the Herb King's spirit range he was going to look for, it was best not to tell anyone. Then, Jing Ingli brought Yi Pandai over. Yemo quickly got up. He was very grateful to her. Without her, there wouldn't be the current him. Jingingli immediately waved her hand and said, I know you want to thank me. There's no need. You've already concocted pills for me. I might be asking you for help in the future. Today, I've brought Marshall's sister Pandai here. Pandai felt a little awkward and bowed. Last time at the Truth Fall Palace Forbidden Grounds, thank you Marshall Brother Yi for saving my life. The reason they don't want to kill Yemo with us is because they don't want to offend the Pill City Lord and Jiling, another elder said. Elder Zhong sneered. So according to you, the Infinity Sect isn't being a turtle, they just don't dare to get revenge. Elder Zhong, they don't want to offend Pill City not because they're scared. I'm sure that the Infinity Sect's leader wants to kill Yemo more than us, but they don't have to do it overtly, Elder Luo rebuked. Seeing that Elder Zhong was still going to say something, Zhang Jiano waved he a hand. Elder Luo is right. We don't need to doubt their intention to kill Yemo. Should we expose that Yemo killed Yuan Guanan? This way the Infinity Sect can work with us? A body condensation state cultivator asked quietly. No need. Zhang Jiano waved his hand. We only have to kill Yemo. It's the same whichever one of us kills him. If we expose Infinity Sect, it would make Yemo more careful instead. And we don't need to cause trouble at MOU City as discussed before. As long as Yemo isn't dead, we can't touch his land. There's Yu Qichao supporting him. We have to be careful. Plus, Yemo chatted with Shan Bingfeng for a long time. The Clear Dream Mosque also has a great perception of Yemo. It was as though the Infinity Sect really wasn't going to do anything to Yemo who had left the Pill City already. But just as Zhang Jiano predicted, the sect leader Yang Feiqing stared at a few elders with a bleak face. Yemo killed their genius Yuan Guanan, but there was an elder saying that they couldn't find Yemo's trouble. What was this logic? A cauldron-filling state stood out and said, Yemo's built his fame. It's implausible to kill him overtly. The Lightning Cloud sect has to do this, but we don't. He has MOU City, and although we can't just attack MOU City, he will go back to MOU City eventually. We have two ways. One is we watch Yemo, and we attack as soon as he returns to MOU City. He's a mere nascent soul state cultivator. Even if he has body condensation state bodyguards, it would be too easy to kill him. Yang Feiqing nodded. Feng Morong keep talking. The cauldron-filling state cultivator continued. Second, Yemo hasn't been in South P State for long, and neither has that Ning Qingxue been in Ethereal Immortal Pond for long. I'm thinking they're from the same place. We just need to investigate if there are more people Yemo is familiar with or close to and do something from there. Yang Feiqing nodded. Great. This is a good idea. Elder Feng, I'll leave this with you, but don't disclose anything about Yemo killing Yuan Guana. Don't investigate that issue for now. Yemo is good at stealth. It's not practical to watch him at the Pill City. Yes. Feng Morong saluted with his fists. I've sent people to investigate and the results are here, but it's not passed up here yet. The other truth realization state immediately waved his hand. Bring it in now. Yes, Ancestor Marshal Uncle He. The cauldron-filling state cultivator sent a message and a moment later, a messenger flying sword appeared on his hand. He looked at it and immediately said, There are 4 girls with Ning Qingxue. Luo Susu and Tang Beiwei went to 9-star sect Black Ice sect. Yun Ziyi and Luo Fei went to 7-star sect Sword Valley. Yang Feiqing frowned and suddenly said, Immediately prepare gifts for these 2 sects and propose to these 4 girls for our core sect member. Give Black Ice sect another cultivation spirit pill and a spirit range. As for Sword Valley, Marshal Uncle He, I'll have to rely on you. The elders took a few breaths in. The price the sect leader named was too high. The entire sect only had a middle-grade spirit range and 6 low-grade spirit ranges. Plus there was the cultivation spirit pill. That was a heaven-grade level 9 pill. It was a pill needed by disaster transformation state to break through to truth realization state. 1 pill was worth an entire 7-star sect. Even a few Yuan Guanans weren't worth this price, much less 1. Yet this price wasn't even for directly killing Yemo. At this moment, Yemo was a few 100,000 kilometers from the Pill City. Qingxue stayed in the Pill City for safety. Great Zhou Mountain wasn't too far, and it took Yemo 3 days to arrive at the nearest town to the mountain, Jinmeng Town. Yemo had 9 transformations on him now, and he turned into a bearded middle-aged man. This was a place without a lot of spirit chi, and the highest-powered cultivator here was nascent soul state. After Yemo came here, he found that the structures here didn't match the population. Many buildings were very luxurious and well-built, but there weren't a lot of people here. Most of them were chi-gathering and cauldron-filling state. There weren't much golden core state cultivators. In order to stay low-profile, Yemo showed his power to be foundation establishment state tertiary stage. There was about tens of thousands km radius around the Great Zhou Mountain. It was extremely hard to find a spirit range here. Friend, are you here for the ancient ruin at the Great Zhou Mountain? A monkey mouth foundation establishment state appeared before Yemo and asked. Yemo was shook. Did everyone know about the Great Zhou Mountain ruin? If that was the case, what was the point of him searching? In a corner that Yemo didn't notice, an ordinary golden core state cultivator saw Yemo, and his face immediately lit up with joy. Then, he turned away and left. There's an ancient ruin on the Great Zhou Mountain? Yemo asked after a while. There's an ancient ruin on the Great Zhou Mountain? Yemo asked after a while. The Monkey Mouth Foundation establishment state cultivator was dazed for a moment and said uncertainly, So, friend, you're not here for the ruin. Well, there's indeed a ruin in there. Monkey Jian, you're scamming people again. A tall, handsome male cultivator walked up to Yemo and saluted with his fists. Friend, it's your first time at the Meng Mountain, right? Don't trust Monkey Jian. This guy's tricking you. How can there be so many ruins? Monkey Jian saw this foundation establishment state cultivator, and his face immediately changed. He turned to leave without even saying anything to Yemo. Yemo studied this handsome male cultivator. He was also foundation establishment state, but was at the peak stage. He seemed cheerful and genuine, but Yemo had the feeling that his words weren't as truthful as Monkey Jian. This is your first time here at the Meng Mountain town, right? I'm Duan Itai. I've been here for some time. That guy you just saw is Monkey Jian. He scams foreign cultivators. You don't need to believe him, friend. Duan Itai smiled, seemingly very genuine. Yemo saluted with his fists and asked, Then may I ask Brother Duan if there really is an ancient ruin on the Great Zhou Mountain? Duan Itai smiled. Monkey Jian isn't completely lying to you about this. Everyone knows about the ancient ruin on the mountain, but that isn't the case now. It was 10 years ago. Large amounts of ancient ruins were revealed. Many cultivators came to search them. More and more cultivators came, eventually forming a small market. Meng Mountain Town was built at that time. In that case, then how is Monkey Jian scamming? Yemo asked in confusion. Duan Itai shook his head. It's because the ruin isn't real. 6 years ago, those people searching for the ruin eventually found a large lava pond. Almost all cultivators thought that was the entrance to the ruin, but in the end the lava pond exploded and none of the cultivators survived. There were said to be tens of thousands of casualties. Even now, you can still find some magic artifact shards at the outskirts of the lava pond. Some lucky cultivators might even get a golden core state master's storage ring. Yemo frowned, thinking that Xingda's grandpa was also tricked into coming here and died to the lava pond. Duan Itai explained. After the lava pond exploded, many masters came to check it out. There was even a truth realization state cultivator, but they didn't find anything. In the beginning, people came looking for storage rings, but as time went on, there were less and less people. So that was it. Yemo finally realized why the town was built so well, but the population was so low. The spirit chi here was arid, and it really didn't seem like a place the Herb King's spirit range was at. Yemo was sure that Duan Itai didn't lie to him about this, as he could ask other people at any time about this. Just when Yemo wanted to leave, Duan Itai stopped him and said, Although the ancient ruin is fake, there are quite some good things not far away from here. This isn't a place to talk. Please come with me. Yemo was a nascent soul state level 5 cultivator and wasn't going to be afraid of Duan Itai, so he followed without question. Duan Itai was very happy with Yemo's attitude. The two didn't go very far before coming to a luxurious small building. There was a decent spirit gathering formation outside. Going inside, Emo realized that it was a spirit rest tower. Many cultivators were resting here and chatting. A few Foundation establishment states were discussing about the Pill King tournament loudly. Emo and Duan Itai walked up slowly and listened. Brother Hong, is that Pill King really that strong? A middle-aged man-female cultivator with a knife scar on her face asked upon hearing that skinny old man talk. The old man looked at the female cultivator in contempt and raised his voice. He's not just strong. Just when everyone thought he was a level 7 spirit pill master and didn't have a rare flame, he beat all the Pill Kings in the first and second round and got first. On the 12 Pill King steps, he took out the rare flame purple flower fire and fought his way up. No Pill King could compare with him, not even a half-immortal Pill King. How come I've heard that there was a Pill King called Juqian? He seems to be on par with that Pill King Yi, another cultivator said. The old man's face was very excited. Yeah, that Juqian is also a tough guy. He acted as a level 9 spirit pill master but was actually a level 6 Pill King. He even took out Heaven Flame 1 purple flare at the 10th Pill King step. Many cultivators exclaimed hearing this. But at this time, that level 7 Pill King Emo reached out his hand and also released a flame. Do you know what flame it is? The old man asked. What flame is it? A few cultivators subconsciously asked. Hee, also a heaven flame called Mist Lotus Heart Fire. Its color was deeper than the 1 purple flare. In the end, Pill King Yi concocted heaven grade level 7 pills with Mist Lotus Heart Fire, but Juqian failed. Brother Hong, how do you know it so well? Another cultivator asked. The old said proudly, because I saw the Pill King tournament. When I was close to Pill King Yi, it was only 10 meters. Suddenly, the knife-scarred female cultivator asked shakily, Brother Hong, did you say that Pill King Yi is Emo? He's really Emo? The old man said in contempt, he's called Emo for sure. He changed his name to Luo Xiaoma and then admitted he was Emo. He also has a city called Emu City. Why would I lie? There were many people who went to see the tournament. If you don't believe me, you can ask around. The female cultivator became very excited and said shakily, Big Brother Hong, can you give me a painting of Pill King Yi? I'll give you spirit stones. Emo scanned that female cultivator with his spirit sense. He didn't think that an irrelevant Pill King would cause her to be that excited. Emo watched her closely and realized that he had indeed never seen her before. He didn't know why she was so excited after hearing his name. But suddenly, Duan Itai said to Emo, Friend, we're here? He opened the room and Emo saw there were 2 cultivators there already, both Foundation establishment state. One was actually a monk, the other of middle build, with short hair and black cultivator robes. Duan Itai brought Emo in and said, These 2 are Lu Xiao and Li Jilei. Then he said to the 2, The person who came with me is... Emo saluted with his fists and said, I'm Ning Xiaoma, greetings. Duan Itai waited for Emo to sit down before saying, Since everyone knows each other now, I'll be straightforward. Brother Ning, there's a swamp in the outskirts of the Great Zhou Mountain called Zhou River Swamp. Have you heard of it, Brother Ning? Emo shook his head. Brother Li, you can tell him, you found it, Duan Itai said to that blue-robed, short-haired cultivator. Li Jilei nodded. Half a month ago, I went to Great Zhou Mountain with a few friends to look for magic artifact shards, but I smelled this aroma. I was sure that it was herb aroma. Just smelling it cleared my spirit. I feel it's at least a level 7 or above spirit herb. At the time, we were all very excited and charged to the source of the aroma. However, we found it to be inside the Zhou River Swamp. When we went inside, we startled a level 5 spirit beast. Before we did anything, the spirit beast was enraged and 2 of my friends died in the swamp. Only I survived. Then, Li Jilei subconsciously glanced at Emo and saw that he was listening intently, so he said with some excitement, I went back and invited a few more friends over, but I never smelled that aroma again. My friends thought I was lying to them, so they all left, but I stayed. After a few more hours, I smelled that aroma again, and it was different than the herb smell last time. This time, it only lasted about 8 minutes. At this moment, Duan Itai intervened. After we heard what Brother Li said, we felt it's an ancient herb garden. It's very ancient and has many types of spirit herbs. Li Jilei nodded again. That's right, We went and checked a few days later and gathered that there would be herb aroma at midday only. Yemo suddenly asked, "So you want me to go with you guys to find that spirit herb garden?" Yes, Brother Ning. That level 5 spirit beast is strong, but it's only level 5 primary stage. We are all foundation establishment state level 9, and with this rune of mine, we can subdue it. Duan Itai took out a level 6 ice shard rune. Yes, Brother Ning, that level 5 spirit beast is strong, but it's only level 5 primary stage. We are all foundation establishment state level 9, and with this rune of mine, we can subdue it. Duan Itai took out a level 6 ice shard rune. Yemo nodded. With the sneak attack of a level 6 ice shard rune, it could indeed injure a level 5 primary stage beast. If they then attacked it together, it would be fine. But as a nascent soul state cultivator, all he needed was one slap to kill a level 5 beast. But Yemo didn't reject this. He didn't know where the Zhou River swamp was, and according to what Li Jilei said, it seemed that the area of the swamp was quite large. It might take a long time for him to find it himself. He might as well go with them. Seeing that Yemo agreed, Duan Itai and them were very happy and wanted to leave immediately. To Yemo, the faster the better. Mang Mountain Town wasn't far from the Great Zhou Mountain. The spirit chi was so arid here. How could there be high-level spirit herbs? So Yemo had great anticipations for the spirit herbs that Li Jilei spoke of. What Yemo didn't expect was that when he came out with Duan Itai and them, the scar-faced female cultivator had already left. She wasn't in his spirit sense range. Clearly, she had left the town. The swamp wasn't far from the town, but it wasn't close either. Yemo would only need 2 hours by himself, but following Duan Itai, it took him a day and a half before he got near there. It was an endless swamp. There were sometimes putrid smells. It was very hard to imagine that this place was an ancient spirit herb garden. When Yemo reached his spirit sense inside here, there was nothing. He found that his spirit sense only had about 200 kilometers range inside this swamp. His spirit sense was restricted. Only formations and some special regions could limit spirit sense. If things go well, we should be able to smell the herb aroma if we stand here at midday. Me and my friends walked 50 kilometers east from here before we met that level 5 spirit beast. Li Jilei pointed at the swamp and said, "This swamp has a powerful suction force. The deeper you go, the more powerful it is. If we go in together, then even if we have the ice pick rune, we're no match for that spirit beast," Duan Itai said. That monk Lushi said, "Brother Duan, you have a lot of tactics. Just tell us what to do." Duan Itai smiled and saluted with his fists. "In that case, I'll be straightforward. Inside is a 3-horned swamp crocodile. It's easily angered. I have a level 5 acceleration rune. We should send one of us who is fast and use the rune to enrage the spirit beast and draw it out. Once it's at the outskirts, the other 3 will ambush the crocodile. Then," he said as though in embarrassment, "I'm an earth-style cultivator. I'm very slow, otherwise I can do this job well. How about I go, although I'm with element, but I should be fine with Brother Duan's level 5 acceleration rune," Lushi suddenly said. Li Jilei shook his head. "No, your build is too big. Even with the rune it would be very hard for you." Yemo heard this and sneered. What did having a big figure have to do with acceleration rune? He was sure that it wasn't the first time these guys came here. They dragged him here for him to attract the spirit beast. Simply put, they were sending him to die. Using a foundation establishment state cultivator to lure a level 5 spirit beast. This was suicide. Yemo was sure that even if he didn't agree, these 3 might have some other way. But Yemo never intended on working with these guys. Just when he wanted to go in alone, he smelled a faint herb aroma. "It's midday. Do you guys smell the herb aroma?" Li Jilei asked excitedly. Lu Shi and Duan Itai all nodded. This time, Yemo didn't want to wait for these guys to play any tricks, so he said, "I'll go. My flying means are pretty decent." Then, Yemo charged into the swamp without the acceleration rune. He knew the herb aroma only lasted 15 minutes. He didn't dare to waste time at all. Hearing that Yemo would go, the 3 all rejoiced. But before they could say anything, Yemo went in already. "Wait, the acceleration rune?" Duan Itai said, but Yemo was already gone. Brother Duan, what do we do? He didn't take the acceleration rune, Li Jilei said disappointedly. Lu Shi shook his head. This guy wants to die. Let's go back and find someone else. Duan Itai sighed. This Ning Xiaoma is probably the best person for the job. He charged in without hesitation after sensing the herb aroma. He's clearly a greedy cultivator. Pity, he didn't take our acceleration rune. Even if he dies, it won't benefit us at all. Then he thought for a moment and said, let's wait here for a while. We might get something unexpected. Yimo didn't know that Duan Itai did something to the acceleration rune, but even if he did, it was pointless. Yimo was a pill king. He had even seen the level 9 spirit herb 9 color lotus, but the herb aroma that floated in his nose was at least level 9 or above. Above level 9 was a mortal herb. Yimo didn't even dare to imagine what was there. Of course, Yimo didn't have the mood to chat with these few foundation establishment state cultivator, so he charged in. Yimo walked less than 200 kilometers and saw the level 5 spirit beast. Clearly, what Duan Itai said was completely wrong. This level 5 spirit beast was just an ordinary spirit beast in the swamp. It had nothing to do with the herb aroma. The only thing was that it was on the way to the herb aroma. Even if they killed this spirit beast, they wouldn't be able to see the herb garden. The spirit beast was level 5, but when it saw Yimo's momentum, it didn't even dare to move. Yimo didn't do anything to the beast and just charged over it, disappearing in the depth of the swamp. The deeper he went inside, the greater the suction force, so Yimo began to slow down. After another 500 kilometers, the herb aroma grew faint. Yimo estimated that the time was up, so he sped up. With a thud, a python that was 100 meters long shot out from the swamp and charged at Yimo, spitting a black water arrow at him. Clearly, Yimo passing over his terrain like nothing was here enraged it. Yimo was shook. He focused on flying and didn't notice this python. It was a level 6 peak stage swamp python. It was powerful, but not yet level 7, or Yimo would have to run. Without hesitation, Yimo released the solo octagonal cauldron. Yimo had finished spirit controlling 3 levels of restriction, so it was much easier to use than before. Yimo even released Zissou. The octagonal cauldron spun rapidly above his head and formed countless cauldron images that blocked the water arrow. The python didn't seem to expect his enraged attack to be blocked so easily, but before it could make another move, Zissou hacked out. Like a purple firework, the purple sword rays swooped the python as they increased in number. The python began to panic and waved its tail like crazy. Powerful beast cultivation essence clashed with Yimo's purple sword rays. Moments later, the python had tins of scars after a few scales came off. The python was furious and hissed before shooting out countless dark water arrows. The water arrows carried sharp beast essence and a putrid smell. It was on par with Yimo's purple sword rays. But the octagonal cauldron was too powerful, and with Yimo's powerful cultivation essence and spirit sense, the water arrows only wrung the cauldron. The octagonal cauldron was indeed very powerful, but Yimo still felt a sliver of pressure. This swamp was very strange. That powerful suction force seemed to be everywhere. He had to defend against the suction force while fighting the python. Who knew what would happen if he got sucked in? The octagonal cauldron was indeed very powerful, but Yimo still felt a sliver of pressure. This swamp was very strange. That powerful suction force seemed to be everywhere. He had to defend against the suction force while fighting the python. Who knew what would happen if he got sucked in? Thud, 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 the dark water arrows clashed with the octagonal cauldron again. At the same time, Yimo used illusion cloud formation kill strike without hesitation. He didn't want to drag the fight out. He had a bad feeling. Yimo wanted to trap the python and then kill it. The python noticed that Yimo wasn't easy to deal with and turned to run after the second wave of water arrows failed. It couldn't even mind the purple sword rays and let the Zissou cut a 10-centimeter deep wound. Yimo didn't chase it. This python ran away too fast. If it was slower and the illusion cloud formation kill strike fully formed, it wouldn't be able to get away. Plus, it wasn't easy for him to kill a level 6 peak stage python in this swamp. Yimo stopped. After that fight, the aroma of the herb had completely disappeared. He didn't know where it came from at all. There was a boundless swamp ahead, and there was only the putrid smell of the swamp, as well as that ever-increasing suction force. Wait, Song, are you sure that person is Yemo? A hollow spirit state peak stage asked a golden core state middle stage not far away from the Mang Mountain town. The golden core state middle stage cultivator immediately replied, I don't dare to lie. Wan Bei was sure that the big beard who went in the town is Yemo. I've seen that Yemo once. Although he wore a stealth mask, I'm sure that's him. Then where did he go? That hollow spirit state cultivator nodded with a calmer tone. He was very happy with the golden core state's answer. He discussed with a few Foundation establishment state cultivators in the Spirit Rest Tower for a long time before leaving town. They headed to the Zhou River Swamp. Very well, you may leave. Then the hollow spirit state peak stage cultivator waved his hand, and a fire engulfed Wei Kong Arg. Wei Tsong didn't get the lush reward he was expecting. He watched Yemo, and now this was the recompense he got. Then, another hollow spirit state middle stage cultivator asked strangely, Marshal Brother Jean, how do you know Wei Tsong can guess which direction Yemo went? That hollow spirit state peak stage elder sneered, that Yemo is cunning like a ghost. It's impossible to block him at the door of the Pill City. With his status, irrelevant people aren't allowed to stay near him. Luckily, before he took Xingda as his disciple, he offended a few cultivators, and that Wei Tsong was one of them. I only managed to find Wei Tsong. The other few cultivators living in the yard were gone. When I found him, he only told me that he might know where Yemo will be, but he didn't say that Yemo would come to Great Zhou Mountain for sure. However, he probably knows something, and so he waited at the Great Zhou Mountain. I didn't expect him to actually succeed. The hollow spirit state middle stage elder was shocked. Even that works? Marshal Brother Jean nodded. Wei Tsong probably guessed that Yemo would come to Great Zhou Mountain, but wasn't sure. I gave him 100k top-grade spirit stones, and said if he found where Yemo is, I would give him another Chaohuan pill. That's why he stayed here and reported to me as soon as he found Yemo. Then, the hollow spirit state elder said bleakly, no matter what he is doing here, I will suck out his soul and burn it. How dare he kill my disciple Chai Kong? If I, Jin Chibei, don't kill him, I have no face to stay in Earth Demon Sect. The hollow spirit state middle stage cultivator nodded. If he stays in the Pill City forever, there's nothing we can do. But since he came out, it's his fault. Let's go now, Marshal Brother Jean. Marshal Brother Jean nodded. He has 2 rare flames. If he falls in the hands of the Lightning Cloud sect, there wouldn't be anything left for us. Let's go. The two dashed out, and in less than 2 hours, they were near the Zhou River Swamp. At this moment, Li Jilei frowned. Brother Lu, Brother Duan, I think that Ningai is dead. It's been 6 hours. I think we should go back first and find someone else. Duan Itai sighed. That's all we can do. I really wonder how that guy lived till today. He's an idiot. He's probably never seen something good, and his brain heated up as soon as he smelled the herb aroma. Is that Ning due to Big Bearded Man? A sudden voice appeared by Duan Itai's ear. The 3 turned back immediately and saw 2 people suddenly appear behind them. They couldn't tell their power level. Even an idiot would know that these 2 were far powerful than them. Duan Itai immediately bowed. That Ning Xiaoma is indeed a big beard. We've arranged to go look for spirit herbs here, but he charged into the swamp without saying anything. We've been waiting for him here, but he still hasn't come out. Which direction did he head to? That cultivator asked again. Even Duan Itai began to worry as this cultivator was expressionless. It was as though they were dead to him. Duan Itai could only point respectfully to east. He went that way. Then, the cultivator shot out 3 fireballs and burned the 3 to dust before they could even react. They were even more certain that the big beard was Yemo. His wife's last name was also Ning. Yemo was very confused right now. He had gone almost 1,000 kilometers into the swamp. Theoretically, there shouldn't be such an absurd spirit herb that could pass its aroma this far. Was it really an immortal herb? Should he stay here and search, or wait till tomorrow when the aroma comes again? If he stayed here, who knew what would happen? There was the powerful suction force and the putrid stench. Or he could go into the Golden Page world and wait there. Even though there were no cultivators here, Emo didn't want to go into the Golden Page world so easily. That was his final card. If people knew about his Golden Page world, there wouldn't be a single place for him to stay. He wasn't Chujuyu. He wasn't that powerful. He would only use the Golden Page world at the final moment. Suddenly, two powerful spirit senses scanned over. Hollow Spirit State Cultivator? Emo was shocked, sweating. He immediately released Zisu and burned some essence blood as he dashed into the depths of the swamp. It clearly wasn't good that Hollow Spirit State Cultivators came here. Regardless if they came for him, he didn't want to see them. After 200 more km, Emo felt it was hard to go forward. The suction force made him unable to go faster. He felt that he had briefly escaped from the spirit sense behind. Without hesitation, Emo went into the Golden Page world and sunk it into the swamp. He knew that if he kept running, he would be locked on by the Hollow Spirit State Cultivator spirit sense again. He burned essence blood to escape outside their spirit sense range before. If he got locked onto again, he wouldn't be able to escape so easily again. Found him. He's clearly not a Foundation establishment state to be able to come in here. It's Emo for sure. Waitsong isn't that stupid after all, Marshall Brother Jean sneered. The other Hollow Spirit State Cultivator nodded. Just when they wanted to accelerate to Emo, they found that Emo instantly accelerated and was nowhere to be found. The Hollow Spirit State middle stage was a little surprised at Emo's speed. The Hollow Spirit State peak stage cultivator said calmly, "No need to be shocked. He just burned essence blood. He ran out of our spirit sense range temporarily, but it's no use. Doing this in the Zhou River Swamp is suicide. If we go faster, we can find him in a few minutes." 15 minutes passed, and the two stopped. That Hollow Spirit State peak stage's face was very bad. He didn't expect Emo to really get away. He got away? Does he have some escape secret technique or high-level rune? The other Hollow Spirit State cultivator's face was also really bad. Marshall Brother Jean shook his head. If he did, he wouldn't burn essence blood. He probably has a really advanced way of hiding. It's just like how he came out from the Pill City. When everyone thought he was in solitary cultivation, he actually came here. Emo didn't dare to come out of the Golden Page world at all. He didn't even dare to throw out a surveillance formation. If he got caught by the two Hollow Spirit State cultivators, he would be dead for sure. Emo didn't dare to come out of the Golden Page world at all. He didn't even dare to throw out a surveillance formation. If he got caught by the two Hollow Spirit State cultivators, he would be dead for sure. Thus, Emo just started cultivation in the Golden Page world. Although the bitter bamboo had a spirit range to support it, its life force wasn't great, so Emo didn't dare to cultivate next to it. But when Emo saw the snow fox in the Golden Page world, he suddenly thought if he let the snow fox search for that herb, it might be effective. 3 days passed quickly. Emo's power didn't increase much. His cultivation essence just became a little bit more refined, but he was still nascent soul state level 5. Emo knew that if he continued cultivating like this for 3 years, he might still be unable to reach nascent soul state level 6, much less nascent soul state tertiary stage. The amount of spirit chi he needed was absurd. His cultivation essence and spirit sense were strong, but it was related to his need for spirit chi. There was no progress for these few days. Emo didn't want to keep cultivating. He threw out a surveillance formation, but what he saw wasn't the dark swamp, but a pitch-black riverbed. This meant that with the suction of the swamp, the Golden Page world was no longer at the surface of the swamp. Emo immediately came out of the Golden Page world and stood by the side of the riverbed. He couldn't see the sky. Clearly this was underground. He didn't expect there to such a huge riverbed and a world like this here. In the pitch-black cold riverbed flew some putrid swamp mud. The Golden Page world was clearly brought here, meaning that the swamp wasn't static. Emo let out the snow fox without hesitation. The fox smelled the riverbed and immediately ran towards the opposite direction. The direction the snow fox was heading seemed to get lower and lower. Emo felt that he was moving to the heart of the earth. After following the snow fox for 4 hours, they passed the extremely long riverbed and ran down for 2 more hours before slowing down. Eventually, the snow fox stopped at a dark crevice. The crevice extended far away. Yemo's spirit sense couldn't scan the end of its length nor depth. It was as if it was endless. The broadest part of the crevice was only 10 centimeters wide and the narrow parts were just a few centimeters. The snow fox stopped above the crevice and looked at Yemo. Yemo frowned. What do you mean? Do you want to go inside? Even though he was a nascent soul state cultivator, telling him to suddenly go in this dark crevice that was only this wide made Yemo hesitate. Who knew if the crevice would suck him down endlessly? If it wasn't for the Golden Page world, Yemo was sure he wouldn't be alive while being sucked through the swamp. Even with the Golden Page world here, who knew where he would end up? However, the snow fox nodded its head firmly. Yemo didn't want to go in, but there obviously was no other way. So, he had no idea but to listen to the snow fox. Thinking about this, Yemo released Zisu and said, "Stand on my shoulders and I'll take you down." The snow fox did so without hesitation and Yemo rode Zisu into the crevice. Yemo was prepared to go into the Golden Page world as soon as there was something wrong. Just as Yemo fell in, that powerful suction returned. The suction outside was nothing compared to this. Yemo immediately knew things weren't good. He couldn't resist such suction at all. Even a cauldron-filling state cultivator wouldn't be able to keep his speed at such suction. It was clearly impossible to fly back up. This snow fox clearly didn't know there was danger in here and just wanted to get him to come. If this crevice was deep enough, then even if there was water or something soft at the bottom, Yemo was sure that he would be dead for sure going down at this speed. Yemo didn't dare to think and brought Zisu and Snow Fox into the Golden Page world inside. Yemo saw extreme terror in the Snow Fox's eyes. Yemo stared at it unhappily and said, "If I didn't have this, we would have died because of you." Every 4 hours, Yemo threw out a surveillance formation disk. Until after almost a day, the Golden Page world finally stopped. Yemo brought the Snow Fox out again, but what he saw was a huge black mountain. It wasn't tall, but it spanned out a few kilometers. It looked like a black dragon from afar. Yemo was very disappointed. The space here was different than outside the crevice. This place looked like a few hundred square kilometers of area, but there was nothing else except the black mountain. Yemo walked a few steps and suddenly felt something wrong. He looked down and found it was all human bones below him. They were everywhere and had turned black, too. Was this an ancient battleground? Yemo kicked a bone and felt that these people must have been powerful masters when they were alive, or their bones wouldn't be around after so long. A storage ring appeared below him. Yemo subconsciously picked it up and found that the storage ring itself was cracked. The things inside spilled out and they were all dust. The storage ring was broken, but Yemo knew that the storage ring belonged to a cultivator at least cauldron-filling state or above. There were countless masters dead here. What was this place? Yemo didn't know if he could go out. If he couldn't, would he end up like the bones here? Yemo found tens of storage rings and countless almost broken magic artifacts. None of them could be used. Yemo sighed. If these masters' storage rings were fine, then he would be wealthy. Yemo walked as he kicked. He was thinking, what if there was a storage ring that wasn't broken? If it did exist, would he get the belongings of an ancient cultivator? What Yemo didn't expect that there really was a clank under his foot. Yemo looked down and immediately saw it a disc-like thing. It didn't seem to be broken. Yemo rejoiced. Clearly it wasn't an ordinary thing to not be broken. Yemo picked it up immediately. This thing probably fell out of a storage ring. The storage ring was broken, but not this. Yemo grabbed it and felt a cool sensation. Before he could check it, he felt goosebumps on his skin. It was extremely uncomfortable. Before Yemo could understand what was going on, he felt his head become very tired. There was a voice in the depth of his sea of consciousness telling him to leave. Hearing this voice, Yemo really wanted to go as far away as possible, but 3 birth chant that was always running automatically woke him up. Possession? Yemo immediately realized that a soul was bound to the disc. Yemo was furious. How dare he try to possess him? Without hesitation, he used 3 birth chant to the extreme, and an almost invisible soul appeared in his sea of consciousness. Get out! Yemo yelled, and the soul was immediately forced out of Yemo's sea of consciousness. What cultivation method is this? The soul was very shocked. That does not concern you. Yemo released Mist Lotus Heart Fire. Yemo was extremely furious. He wanted to burn this soul to dust. Heaven Flame? The soul saw this Mist Lotus Heart Fire and screamed out, "Don't burn me. I'll tell you what the formation disc is. It's from before the immortal realm existed." Heaven Flame? The soul saw this Mist Lotus Heart Fire and screamed out, "Don't burn me. I'll tell you what the formation disc is. It's from before the immortal realm existed." Yemo dazed. This thing in his hands was a formation disc? It existed before the immortal realm? What bullshit was this? Huh. Yemo was dazed by this and didn't notice his Mist Lotus Heart Fire. It swept towards that soul. The soul, after all these years, was already feeble and now was annihilated by the Mist Lotus Heart Fire. Yemo patted the thing in shame and said, "You really can't withstand a burn. My flame just tapped you accidentally and you died." If the soul heard this, he would jump up and curse Yemo. Although he was a soul, he was once truth realization state peak stage. His power was immense, and after all these years, when he was about to dissipate, he could even possess a body condensation state cultivator, much less a nascent soul state cultivator like Yemo. But little did he know Yemo had a cultivation method like the three-birth chant. He couldn't stay inside Yemo's sea of consciousness. He had no resistance to Yemo in Yemo's sea of consciousness. Yemo didn't really care. It was a soul that tried to take his body. He looked at the round disc again. It was still very cold. What was it made from? How could it be a formation disc? There were 7 slots on the disc. He was a formation great master himself and knew what a formation disc looked like. This thing had nothing to do with formations. But then again, the soul didn't need to trick him. Just when Yemo wanted to study it, he heard the snow fox call. He immediately threw the formation disc into the golden page world and looked at the snow fox. What shook him was that the snow fox was biting that black dragon-like mountain. "Are you crazy?" Yemo charged up and grabbed the snow fox. Then, Yemo released it, and the fox fell back on the mountain. However, the fox kept clawing at the mountain. Yemo looked dazedly at the black mountain that was slowly clawed open. Below it wasn't black, it was a green color like the bitter bamboo. A faint herb aroma came from the huge mountain. "Herb King's spirit range?" Yemo blurted out. The snow fox nodded back while busying about. "I finally understand. This really is the Herb King's spirit range." Yemo then went on the mountain and started clawing away the black top of the mountain. More green appeared and more herb aroma was emitted. "Stop." Yemo suddenly thought of something and ordered the fox. The fox stopped this time and looked at Yemo. "You can't claw it anymore. If this huge mountain is completely revealed, people would be able to find it after following the aroma. Then it won't be ours," Yemo said as though he was telling a friend. Yemo was very shocked. He didn't expect there to really be the Herb King's spirit range in the Great Zhou Mountain, and in the depths of the earth at that. If he wasn't being hunted by 2 hollow spirit state cultivators, how could he find this place? He was sure that the aroma outside was not herb aroma but this. No wonder the aroma could pass so far away. But Yemo wondered why the aroma only appeared during midday. "We have to move this spirit range away as quickly as we can, or we might attract more people," Yemo said, and then began thinking of ways to move this into his golden page world. He didn't expect the news Xingda's grandpa got was really correct, but even if her grandpa found this, he wouldn't be able to take it away. Ordinary storage rings couldn't hold it at all. Only his golden page world could hold it. Yemo threw out formation flags. The only way he could shift it into his golden page world was using the transmission formation. Yemo had past experience of collecting spirit ranges, so as he threw down the formation flags, a huge rumbling sounded. The spirit range moved, and as more formation flags were thrown down, the louder the rumbling sound got, until the entire spirit range was moved into his golden page world. The 2 hollow spirit states above the swamp suddenly stopped and looked very confused. The herb aroma is gone. The hollow spirit state middle stage dazed and said. Marshall Brother Jean frowned. "We've been looking for Yemo these few days and have been able to smell that herb smell. It must be a high-level spirit herb. It's denser at midday. How could it be suddenly gone? Could it be due to that Yemo?" The hollow spirit state middle stage cultivator nodded seriously. I think it might be, if only we kept the insects at the bank. They must be here for that ancient herb garden now. Now that the herb aroma is gone, could it be that Emo found the herb garden and moved it all away? Marshall Brother Jean frowned for another moment before shaking his head. It shouldn't be just that. I feel that there's suddenly something missing from the swamp. Now that you say it, I really feel like that as well. It seems to be missing life force. The hollow spirit state middle stage cultivator nodded. Marshall Brother Jean nodded with certainty. That's right. It seems to be missing some life force. This swamp has become very ordinary, even a little dead. Marshall Brother Yao, let's leave here first. Even if Emo wants to leave here, we won't be able to guard it. Marshall Brother Yao nodded. They had been searching for Emo for a few days, but he was nowhere to be seen. It was best to inform the sect first. After Emo brought the Herb King's spirit range into the Golden Page world, he immediately went in with the Snow Fox. Emo found in surprise and joy that the withered, bitter bamboo was now vibrant again. It was on par with what it looked like on the World Mountain. Emo got up. He got the Herb King's spirit range now so he could leave, but immediately he began to frown. Where could he go? The suction force here was so powerful. He wasn't able to leave at all. Emo got up. He got the Herb King's spirit range now so he could leave, but immediately he began to frown. Where could he go? The suction force here was so powerful. He wasn't able to leave at all. Thinking about this, his head began to ache. Although he got the Herb King's spirit range, he couldn't stay here forever. Suddenly, Emo looked at the formation disc he had thrown in. It didn't seem like a formation disc, but the soul said it was a formation disc. It was something that even the immortal realm didn't have. Emo sneered. This clearly was bullshit. Since when did the cultivation realm have something that the immortal realm didn't have? But then Emo calmed down. His Golden Page world and bitter bamboo might not be in the immortal realm. It said that there would only be one bitter bamboo. Since he got it, how could the immortal realm have it? Emo wasn't sure if there would be small worlds like his Golden Page world, but according to the creator of the primordial chaos chant Meng Qian, this Golden Page world wasn't ordinary. The immortal realm might really not have it. However, these were special things. What was special about a formation disc? This was made by humans. Wait, Emo suddenly remembered the soul's words, "Don't burn me. I'll tell you what the formation disc is. It's something that even the immortal realm doesn't have. Time." Time what? Is it? Emo's hand shook and almost dropped the formation disc. He thought of time. Was this a time formation disc? If it really was, then the immortal realm really might not have it. But is there really something like the time formation disc? Emo began feeling excited. If it really was a time formation disc, then even if he couldn't use it, he would be enlightened about the field of time from it. His future would be unimaginable. He planned to go out originally, but now Emo gave up on the thought, instead sitting down on the spirit range to study this formation disc. This was really different than the formation discs he usually made. Its formation theory and formation points completely toppled Emo's knowledge. Emo couldn't even tell what material it was made from. Emo couldn't even recognize that this was a formation disc, much less tell what level it was. He gradually sunk his mind into it, as though seeing a new haven for formations. After a long while, Emo sighed. He felt this formation disc was too complicated. He could only touch a very small part of it. There were 7 slots. Emo thought about it and inserted 7 top-grade spirit stones into them, but there was no reaction. Emo took it out and put 7 extreme-grade spirit stones there. He only had 15 extreme-grade spirit stones altogether. Emo rejoiced to find that after they were put in the slots, the formation disc actually moved. It was really slow, but it was indeed moving. After 5 minutes, the 7 extreme-grade spirit stones formed a veil that soon covered Emo. Seeing this, Emo's face immediately lit up. He was sure now that this formation was indeed a time formation disc, the very rare time acceleration formation disc amongst time formation discs. It was the #1 cultivation tool. It was a legend amongst legends. Time acceleration formation disc. It might be a bluff to say that the immortal realm didn't have it, but this thing was indeed too precious. Emo saw that the extreme-grade spirit stones seems to be depleting rapidly inside and immediately realized that ordinary people couldn't even afford to use it. Extreme-grade spirit stones were probably the lowest grade power source it ran on. Although Emo wanted to study this time formation disk immediately, he didn't want to waste the extreme-grade spirit stones for nothing. So he quickly took out a soul essence pill and began cultivating after putting another 7 extreme-grade spirit stones in the slots. Sitting next to the Herb King spirit range and bitter bamboo, while eating soul essence pills and blue carrot pills, Emo felt his cultivation level seemed to skyrocket. It didn't take him long to reach nascent soul state level 6 peak. Then, Emo felt a powerful cultivation essence surge. He didn't dare to waste time at all. 14 extreme-grade spirit stones were very valuable, but they might not even last the formation 2 months. Emo started using the 3 birth chant like crazy and 8 pills to cultivate. All the spirit chi of the Herb King spirit range and other spirit range was activated. A huge spirit chi whirlpool formed above Emo's head until the spirit chi around Emo almost materialized. There were just constant gurgling sounds as though his meridians were being expanded. Later, a 3-inch nascent soul sat above Emo. Its hands held the 3 birth chant hand sign, attracting more and more spirit chi. The entire golden page world was filled with spirit chi. Even Snow Fox and Silver came to the side of the Herb King spirit range, while Shadowless flew next to the bitter bamboo and stopped moving. Crack crack. Emo knew it was the first 7 extreme-grade spirit stones cracking, even with his eyes closed. As Emo ate the 3rd blue carrot pill, he felt his meridians seem to have been enhanced again. More powerful cultivation essence flowed through his body. Emo knew that he broke through to nascent soul state level 7. Emo stopped cultivation. He felt he had been cultivating for nearly 3 months. The Herb King spirit range's effects were immeasurably higher than ordinary spirit stones and low-grade spirit ranges. But Emo knew that other than the Herb King spirit range, the main reason he progressed so fast was the bitter bamboo. Without the bitter bamboo, he wouldn't be able to break through to nascent soul state level 7 in a few months, even with the Herb King spirit range. These few months were under the acceleration of the time formation disk. Emo didn't know how much time had elapsed in the outside world, but he didn't have any more extreme-grade spirit stones where he would be able to keep cultivating. Even without the time formation disk, Emo was sure he would be able to reach nascent soul state peak stage in less than 2 years, cultivating next to the Herb King spirit range and the bitter bamboo. But he didn't have that much time. Qingxue was waiting in the Pill City and Luoying would come to find him as soon as she finished solitary cultivation. He had to go out first. Emo thought if he wanted to save time on cultivation, he would need to utilize this time formation disk. Didn't that mean he would have to gather extreme-grade spirit stones everywhere? Extreme-grade spirit stones were too precious, and this time formation disk ate them like a pig. Where could he find that many? Emo soon looked at the Herb King spirit range below him. He couldn't put it into the formation disk slot, but he could set up direct spirit formation. Emo started making formation flags, and in a few days' time he made tins of formation flags. He then put the formation disk on the Herb King spirit range and started setting up spirit attraction formations around the formation disk. There were 7 slots, so he needed 7 spirit attraction formations. It was no pressure for him, but what he worried about was if the formation disk would activate. On the 5th day, Emo finished setting up the formation and threw down the controlling flags. 7 beams of spirit chi shot into the 7 slots of the time formation disk. The next moment, the formation disk began to spin. At the start it was slow, but soon it spun faster and faster. Emo rejoiced. He knew his method had succeeded. He didn't want to think much and began cultivation. Break Tiger Pill, Soul Essence Pill, Blue Carrot Pill. These didn't mean anything to Emo now. While he devoured spirit chi like crazy, he didn't hesitate to use these pills either. Emo had completely forgotten about time. He didn't even know his Herb King's spirit range had shrunk greatly. Emo had completely forgotten about time. He didn't even know his Herb King's spirit range had shrunk greatly. If he saw that the Herb King's spirit range was getting smaller and smaller, he might stop immediately because comparatively, the bitter bamboo was the basis for his cultivation. Without the Herb King's spirit range, the bitter bamboo would be dead. Cultivation was timeless, and even in the time formation disk, it was like that too. Yemo felt his cultivation essence had reached a peak and couldn't increase anymore. He suddenly opened his eyes. He was nascent soul state level 9 peak stage. Yemo was shocked at how long had he been cultivating. Yemo was initially overjoyed, but soon he didn't have any of that feeling. He saw that his Herb King's spirit range had shrunk by nearly 20%. Yemo was sure that although he needed a lot of spirit chi, he didn't need this much. It wouldn't even be 1% of the Herb King's spirit range, and that would be enough for him to reach nascent soul state peak stage. Without question, it was due to the time formation disk. It must be so much more effective to use the Herb King's spirit range to power the time formation disk, and the time difference ratio would be much higher. But he only had one Herb King's spirit range. He quickly put away the spirit attraction formation and the time formation disk. If he continued like this, it won't be long before his Herb King's spirit range completely disappeared. If that happened, how could his bitter bamboo survive? The Herb King's spirit range was precious, but it was fine if it disappeared. But there must not be any dangers with the bitter bamboo. Yemo felt that he had spent at about 3 years in solitary cultivation, maybe a bit less. He wondered how much time had passed outside. Yemo used a few cleansing spells on himself and learned that he was about to face divine damnation. He had an ample amount of hollow meridian pills. As for where to face his divine damnation, he hadn't thought of it yet. He needed to find a way out first. He thought that he had been below the crevice for at least a few months, and those 2 hollow spirit state cultivators must be gone. When he came to the crevice again, he only saw a large empty place. There was much less life force here due to the Herb King's spirit range having been taken. He subconsciously released Zisu and tried flying. The powerful suction force was still there. Yemo was sure that with his current power, he wouldn't be able to fly up. Reach hollow spirit state was the only thought in Yemo's head. He knew that he still wouldn't be able to fly up after reaching hollow spirit state, but hollow spirit state was more than 10 times stronger than nascent soul state. Yemo started setting up spirit gathering, lightning attraction, and lightning storage formations. If it wasn't for the last 2 formations, he would have died to that annihilation divine damnation. Who knew if it would come again? At this moment, there were countless cultivators outside the Zhou River swamp. Some cultivators even tried flying above it. They came here because they heard that another ancient ruin was discovered here. The news spread because Earth Demon sect cultivators sneakily came around here, and they were exposed by low-level cultivators. As the news spread, more and more people knew, and the stories got crazier. It ended up with people finding low-grade cultivation artifacts and someone getting a heaven-grade cultivation method. Eventually, even some 7-star and 8-star sects people came. But only the Earth Demon sect elders felt depressed. They came to the swamp first for Yemo, wanting to trap him there, and secondly for the ancient spirit herb garden. But now, this was all exposed. But even so, they could only pretend they didn't know. Hunting Yemo was no small thing. As for the spirit herb garden, they didn't dare to mention it at all. Due to this, more and more cultivators came to the Zhou River swamp. Even the Mang Mountain town grew popular again. But the cultivators searched for a few months and found nothing besides some high-level swamp spirit beasts. As time went on, some cultivators were planning to leave, but at this time, the sky above the swamp suddenly darkened. Lightning bolts crackled in the sky. What's going on? All the cultivators stared at the sky in the depth of the swamp. I understand. It's divine damnation, one cultivator yelled. Who would be having divine damnation inside the swamp? It's a spirit beast, right? 9 baby arm-sized lightning bolts cracked down into the swamp. Rumble, 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 the lightning crackled down into the earth. The loud thud could be felt this far away. The ground beneath them was shaking. Someone is having divine damnation beneath the earth. No, some spirit beast. It can't be a spirit beast. This divine damnation is too terrifying. Just the first bolt is this thick. How terrifying would the later ones be? Is someone going to reach truth realization state, or is a spirit beast reaching level 10? The divine damnation made everyone's face change. The Earth Demon sect's hollow spirit state elders' face changed, They thought it might be Emo at first, but seeing this power, they were sure it wasn't him. This divine damnation was too terrifying. What the cultivators didn't expect was that after the first wave, the second wave immediately followed without any gap. It clearly wanted to kill the person. The cultivators were terrified at this divine damnation, but no one left. Such a divine damnation was unseen before. They wanted to see what sort of person could bring down such terrifying divine damnation. This was Emo's divine damnation, of course. After he ate the hollow meridian pill, he even picked a bitter bamboo leaf and put it in his mouth to prevent having the heart demon tribulation again. Emo relaxed a little upon seeing that the lightning bolts were still baby arm-sized. It was the same size as when he broke through to nascent soul state. He wasn't scared of this when he was golden core state peak stage, much less now. He released Zisu and hacked out with purple sword rays. Emo had experience now. When facing the divine damnation, he couldn't use illusion cloud or it would be less effective. Crack crack, purple lightning exploded around Emo. Emo blocked 5 of the first wave with Zisu, while the remaining 4 landed on Emo. With the 3 birth chant, he completely devoured them. Emo could feel his power increasing drastically. Emo felt this divine damnation had bolts of the same size, but it was much more powerful than the golden core state divine damnation. Even so, the first wave didn't faze him at all. Then, the second and third wave fell. However, the second and third wave were a bit thicker than the first. Rumble, 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 crack. Emo hacked away nearly 10 bolts, but the rest still fell on him. Emo was injured a little, but he still devoured the remaining lightning. The fourth wave didn't fall, and seemed to be in preparation. Emo didn't move. The spirit gathering formation formed by tens of millions of spirit stones was enough for him, and formed a mist around him. Even so, he didn't take out the octagonal cauldron. He knew that the more lightning bolts he devoured, the better. If he blocked them with his octagonal cauldron, he wouldn't benefit as much. The sky grew even darker and a few small lightning sparks cracked occasionally, as though signaling more powerful lightning. At the same time, the cultivators outside were all shocked. Even hollow spirit state cultivators were thinking that they wouldn't be able to block the first 3 waves. It must be a powerful being going through divine damnation. A few breaths later, the clustered lightning arcs cracked down. Before Emo could react, tens of bolts that were twice as large as before fell on Emo. A few breaths later, the clustered lightning arcs cracked down. Before Emo could react, tens of bolts that were twice as large as before fell on Emo. Emo was scared shitless. Without hesitation, he released his octagonal cauldron and Zisu. But even so, more than 10 bolts fell on his body. There was one that was the size of a muscular man's arm. Emo spat mouthfuls of blood. He was heavily injured already. There was not a single part of his body that was fine. This divine damnation was ambushing him. Emo was sure that if he didn't have the octagonal cauldron or used it too late, he would be dead. This wave had 63 bolts of lightning. There were 7 waves of lightning altogether. Emo used the 3 birth chant to devour the lightning bolts while using his octagonal cauldron and Zisu to block the dense lightning arcs. However, there were too many bolts this time. Even the octagonal cauldron was rattling and shaky. The cauldron images dissipated. Emo was beginning to lose his hold, but then the 3 birth chant showed its power once again. He devoured lightning more and more rapidly. There had been 10 waves already. He guessed that he would be dealing with 11 waves this time. Thus he released formation flags and drew most of the lightning arcs into the lightning storage formation. Luckily, he had a lot of pills and the octagonal cauldron to help. Even though he was heavily injured, his foundation wasn't damaged. When he completely refined these lightning arcs, he would be mostly recovered. At the same time, Emo felt that his power kept climbing until it reached a point where he was about to break through to hollow spirit state. With a rumble, the last 9 bolts came down. When Emo saw they were size of a lower leg, he immediately knew he couldn't take them head-on. Without hesitation, Emo used Zisu to block 1 and directed 3 into the lightning storage formation. There were 2 blocked by the octagonal cauldron, and then the last 3 fell on his body. These lightning arcs were so much stronger than the previous ones. The land was shaking, but Yemo couldn't care. He just had to keep devouring lightning and increasing his power. Before Yemo could finish, large patches of rainbow clouds appeared, but different from before, they weren't rainbow-colored but black. This was when Yemo needed spirit chi the most. The tens of millions of spirit stones didn't supply enough to him. As Yemo devoured the black spirit cloud, he felt his power rise continuously. After he completely devoured all of the black clouds, he roared and flew up. At the same time, his essence spirit formed. It was a faint shadow, but Yemo knew his strength skyrocketed. He was finally hollow spirit state. Just when he wanted to consolidate his power, he felt his lightning storage formation rustle. Not good. It was going to explode. Yemo went into the golden page world without hesitation. He knew that there was no time to devour the lightning inside. Despite his formation skills increasing, there were just too many lightning bolts stored there, and now it was going to explode. Rumble just when Yemo went into the golden page world. The lightning storage formation completely exploded, forming a terrifying blast of air, and the space beneath the crack began to collapse. Yemo just threw a surveillance formation disc out, and it was blasted into nothing. When the cultivators saw 63 lightning bolts that were size of grown men's arm come down, they all took a cold breath in. Since when had they seen such a terrifying divine damnation? This wasn't divine damnation. It was trying to kill the cultivator. How did this cultivator offend the heavens? The cultivator would be dead for sure. However, another 9 bolts rained down. Clearly, this was the last wave. The size was that of a small leg. It was the same size as a truth realization state's immortal ascension divine damnation. It was the first time that all the cultivators here had seen such a terrifying divine damnation. That Qian Bei actually survived the 63 bolts of lightning. My God! One cultivator exclaimed. Clearly, the last wave rained down because the cultivator survived the 63 bolts. Just looking at the last wave, people's head crawled with bugs. No one had the feeling of dealing with this divine damnation, but there were some people who believed the cultivator survived. After all, he survived the 63 cluttered bolts before. Another wave of rumbling sounded. Cultivators felt the earth beneath them shaking. Even after a long while, it didn't stop. After another while, the shaking was getting stronger and stronger. What's going on? Some cultivators asked, but no one could answer that question. Look at the middle of the swamp. There's an eddy. One cultivator pointed and screamed. It was only a few kilometers in distance. It really is an eddy. The eddy seemed to be getting bigger and bigger. Wait, I feel as though the earth below is crumbling. Finally, one cultivator realized the problem. Suddenly, the earth where some cultivators stood began to crumble. All the cultivators began to worry. Some high-powered ones released their magic artifacts and dashed up while some weaker cultivators were swept away. Those cultivators in the sky also felt an increasing suction force. This swamp is going to sink. One cultivator realized the terrifying truth. The next moment, the swamp seemed to flow into the earth with astounding force. The earth rumbled with terrifying sounds. The cultivators who released their flying magic artifacts headed away from the swamp, fearing that they would be swept away. With such power, even hollow spirit state cultivators would be dead for sure if swept down. The swamp spirit beasts also charged out to escape. The spirit beasts and cultivators couldn't care about each other as they focused on running. 3 days later, the swamp had completely disappeared. The boundless swamp just disappeared on its own. No one knew where all that mud went. A huge valley formed where the swamp had once stood. There were no spirit herbs here, and very little spirit chi. 2 days later, Yemo just stayed in his golden page world without throwing out more surveillance formation discs. He was sure that no matter how big the explosion, it wouldn't affect his golden page world. So, he started consolidating his hollow spirit state power. Next to the Herb King's spirit range and bitter bamboo, his power was quickly consolidated. Yemo found that after he became hollow spirit state, he devoured spirit chi with even more terrifying force, especially when he used the 3-birth chant. Yemo was surprised. Other people used spirit stones or a spirit gathering formation to cultivate, but his cultivation would only be somewhat effective if he used the Herb King's spirit range. Otherwise, if he used only spirit stones, he would never progress. It seemed he had to keep collecting spirit ranges from now on since this Herb King's spirit range wasn't enough for him. If he really used it, he might use it up within 3 to 5 years. Yemo sunk his mind into cultivation, and time passed rapidly. When Yemo completely consolidated his power and reached Hollow Spirit State Level 1 middle stage, another 2 months had passed. Yemo threw out a surveillance formation disc and sighed. Time flew by way too quickly in cultivation. What was shown to him was a water veil. The golden page world was at the bottom of the swamp. How was it in water now? What was shown to him was a water veil. The golden page world was at the bottom of the swamp. How was it in water now? Yemo didn't know what happened outside and came out of the golden page world. Immediately, a terrifying pressure hit him. Even with his Hollow Spirit State Level 1 power, he almost couldn't breathe. Without question, this place was very deep and the pressure was too great. At the same time, he didn't understand. Even if his lightning storage formation exploded, he couldn't go from the bottom of the swamp to the bottom of a river. Yemo just knew that he had to get out as quickly as possible and go to Pill City. Then, he would ask Lu Wuhu why he helped him. If Lu Wuhu really needed him to help with something, he would try to lower the price and make Lu Wuhu be a bodyguard to get Susu and Beiwei from the Black Eye sect. Yemo started to speed up, charging towards the surface of the water. The floating force and his speed added together still took him 3 hours before he reached the surface. One could see how deep down he was. After charging out of the water's surface, Yemo gasped and breathed air in big mouthfuls. He had spent more than 3 years, including the time formation disk acceleration time underground. He didn't know how long it had been outside. Yemo gasped and then began to look around. Where he came up from was a long river. The river was only tens of kilometers wide, yet his spirit sense couldn't even scan the length of the river. This was the first time Yemo had seen a river this deep. There were many places in the Heartless Sea that weren't even as deep as this. Yemo flew to the side of the river and used a few clearing water spells and changed a set of clothes before releasing his spirit sense. He wanted to see if there were people nearby, so he could ask them how far he was from the Pill City and how long he had been gone for. As soon as Yemo reached out with his spirit sense, he saw 3 beams. There was a cultivator at the front fleeing on his flying sword, while 2 cultivators chased behind him. The running cultivator was Nascent Soul State Level 4, while the 2 behind him were Nascent Soul State Level 5 and Level 9. Qian Bei. The running cultivator couldn't tell Yemo's power, so he could only call Qian Bei. Yemo saw that this cultivator was covered in blood and heavily injured. Before Yemo said anything, the 2 Nascent Soul State cultivators came and saw that Yemo didn't do anything. The Nascent Soul State Level 9 saluted with his fists and said, "Friend, hello. Infinity Sect's Chen Bang thanks you for stopping this person for us." Yemo was thinking, who was this cocky? He was a Hollow Spirit State cultivator, and yet a Nascent Soul State cultivator talked to him without calling him Qian Bei. So it was an Infinity sect member. If it was some other Hollow Spirit State cultivator, he might just laugh and turn away. But Yemo was not some other Hollow Spirit State cultivator. Even if he didn't have conflict with Infinity Sect, who did this Nascent Soul State cultivator think he was, helping him stop this guy? Yemo ignored the Nascent Soul State Level 9 and asked the Nascent Soul State Level 4, "What's your name and why are you being hunted?" The Nascent Soul State Level 4 was planning to self-destruct after Yemo left. Even if he couldn't kill the 2, he would at least injure them. However, Yemo asked who he was instead, so he saluted with his fists. "Qian Bei, I'm a sect member of Sword Valley, Ganliang. Because the animals of Infinity Sect annihilated our Sword Valley and want to kill all of our sect members." Yemo nodded. In the law of the jungle cultivation realm, this was very normal. But as a 9-star sect, the Infinity Sect was too domineering, annihilating whomever they liked. "What? You said Sword Valley." Yemo's face immediately changed. After meeting Ning Qingxue, he learned about Sword Valley. It was the sect Luo Fei and Yun Zi were at. They were recommended to go there by Luo Susu's master. What right did Infinity Sect have to annihilate Sword Valley? Yemo's fury rose. Yunzi was all right, but Luo Fei belonged to Luo Yu City. She had been helping run Luo Yu Pharmaceuticals. Seeing that Yemo ignored him and instead began talking to the cultivator they were chasing as though he was going to help him, Chunbang's face immediately sunk. He could tell that Yemo was only Hollow Spirit State primary stage. A Hollow Spirit State level 1 cultivator had no right to give him attitude. Friend, this is between the Infinity Sect and Sword Valley. Please step aside. I need to take him away, Chunbang said unhappily. Although he was a nascent soul state cultivator, if he used the name of Infinity Sect, even ordinary body condensation state didn't dare to be rude. What right did Yemo, this mere Hollow Spirit State level 1, have to mind other people's business? Plus, there were Infinity Sect Hollow Spirit State cultivators nearby. I want to mind this business. What are you going to do? Yemo's face sunk. This nascent soul state cultivator really thought he was something. The nascent soul state level 5 cultivator heard this and said nothing. He took out a communication bead and looked at Chunbang. Chunbang didn't expect there to be a Hollow Spirit State cultivator who disregarded the Infinity Sect. He didn't dare to let that nascent soul state level 5 send a message because he knew that in this time, it would be enough to kill them many times. Even if their sect got them revenge, they would be dead. The reason he didn't care much about Yemo was because the name Infinity Sect was too good to use. Gan Liang's eyes spewed fury as he glared at the two. Infinity Sect's truth realization state old man He Lingy acted like he was on top of everything and came to Sword Valley. He wanted our two female cultivator members Luo Fei and Yunzi. Our sect leader rejected without asking any reason. But the old bastard, he injured our sect leader and killed many of our elders. Yemo's eyes were about to spew out frost. He'd be an idiot to not know by now that the Sword Valley was annihilated due to him. Ganliang continued, our sect leader said, our heads can be cut and our blood can flow, but our sword chi will never break. You want the Sword Valley to succumb? Piss off. Even if we're down to the last person, there will be one to get revenge from the Infinity Sect. Very well. Yemo spat coldly. He gave a pill to Ganliang. You can kill that nascent soul state level 5 trash. I will kill this Chunbang trash. Ganliang took the pill dazedly. He was prepared to die, but this Chunbei was actually willing to help him. This was forming a death conflict with the Infinity Sect. You dare act against our Infinity Sect? Chunbang's eyes were wide open in shock. He didn't dare to believe this Hollow Spirit State level 1 was this crazy. The nascent soul state level 5 heard this, and his face also changed. Without hesitation, he wanted to send a message, but a purple light flashed and the hand holding the communication bead was sliced off. Ganliang laughed. Chunbei, you underestimate me. Even if Chunbei didn't cut one of his hands, I can kill a scum like him easily. Yemo ignored Ganliang and stared at Chunbang coldly. I even dared to kill Yuan Guanan, much less an insect like you. What? You killed Martial Brother Yuan? But Yemo's purple sword rays already swept over. He wanted to use his magic artifact to block it, but he found he was stuck. It was very hard to even move. After the purple sword rays swept over, blood flew across the sky. Yemo took the storage ring and just watched Ganliang fight the nascent soul state level 5. The reason he said he killed Yuan Guanan without hesitation was because he knew that the Infinity Sect knew this for sure. Otherwise, they wouldn't go to Sword Valley for Luo Fei and Yunzi. Ganliang's magic artifact was just a flying sword, but Yemo felt his flying sword was like a long sword. As soon as he released it, it brought about waves of sword mist that made Ganliang himself even look like a sword. Ganliang's magic artifact was just a flying sword, but Yemo felt his flying sword was like a long sword. As soon as he released it, it brought about waves of sword mist that made Ganliang himself even look like a sword. That Infinity Sect nascent soul state level 5 cultivator already had one arm cut off by Yemo. He didn't get time to reattach it before Ganliang's flying sword swept over. Yemo didn't move. He just watched Ganliang's sword waves roll towards that Infinity Sect nascent soul state cultivator. From the outside, one could only see the white rays of sword light clashing with magic artifact, But Yemo could clear sense the sword ability and moves that Ganliang used. Ganliang just hacked out one sword. But this sword was like a wave that was followed by more waves behind it. The first wave was just a few strikes, but before that wave was crippled, the second wave came and there were more than 10 strikes. Yemo nodded. Sword Valley indeed deserved its name. One could tell how extraordinary it was just by looking at Ganliang's sword technique. But Ganliang's killing intent was intense. The nascent soul state level 5 cultivator was injured at the third sword wave again. He was trying to use that as the price to get away. But at this moment, Ganliang's sword wave suddenly exploded. Blood mist rose, and that nascent soul state level 5 cultivator was hacked open just when he wanted to use an escape technique. If he didn't just think about running away, even if Ganliang killed him, Ganliang would be heavily injured. After killing that nascent soul state level 5, Ganliang immediately walked up to Yemo and bowed. "Thank you for helping Qianbei." There was a look of respect on Ganliang's face. Yemo waved his hand and said, "How are Luo Fei and Yunzi?" Ganliang's face showed sadness. That infinity sect truth realization state old fart killed all of our body condensation state elders before leaving. But that was just the beginning of the slaughter. After he left, tens of cultivators below body condensation state from the infinity sect came. Our blood flowed like rivers. Martial sister Luo Fei and Yunzi are gone. They're probably not in a good state. Suddenly, Ganliang stopped and asked Yemo, "Qianbei knows martial sisters Luo Fei and Yunzi?" Yemo nodded. "Yes, I'm Yemo, the number 1 of the Pill City Pill King tournament." "Pill King Yi?" Ganliang was dazed and murmured, "So that's it, you know?" Yemo asked heavily. Ganliang nodded. "Yes, Pill King Yi Qianbei, 7 months ago, you got first in the tournament. Our sect got news of it soon. Martial sister Luo Fei and Yunzi told the sect leader that they knew Pill King Yi. The sect leader was very happy and was planning to take the 2 martial sister to visit Pill King Yi. At this moment, Infinity Sect's truth realization state, He Ling, came to our sect and requested to take away martial sisters Luo Fei and Yunzi. Our sect leader rejected without hesitation. In his fury and embarrassment, he heavily injured our sect leader. The elders fought with him. Although our elders aren't scared of death, that He Ling is already truth realization state. None of our elders lived. Yemo clenched his fists tightly. The Infinity Sect's people were too cocky. Just because they had great power, they did whatever they wanted. He didn't expect he had been in the Zhou River swamp for more than 7 months. Our sect leader guessed that the Infinity Sect came for the 2 martial sisters because of Qianbei. When I heard Qianbei say that you killed Yuan Guanan, I realized now. The Infinity Sect is so shameless. Ganliang's fists were bleeding. Sorry. Yemo was dejected. Clearly, the Sword Valley was destroyed because of him, but Yemo didn't understand. Even if the Infinity Sect wanted to harm him, it didn't explain why they wanted to take Luo Fei and Yunzi as well as annihilate Sword Valley. There must be some other reason. He had to go Sword Valley no matter what. Ganliang's eyes were red. Our sect leader and our Sword Valley's people need to have sword chi and bones. Although this started due to Qianbei, the Infinity Sect would still annihilate us if we offended them for something else. So, if our sect wants to survive, we need to get stronger and stronger. Yemo said heavily, "Great, Brother Ganliang. As long as you have this mentality, one day I will let you become the strongest swordsman." Then, Yemo asked, "Is your sect leader still alive?" Ganliang shook his head. "I don't know. When our sect leader was heavily injured, he told us to run away in separate directions. As long as one of us is alive, we must get revenge. When I left, the sect leader escaped under the protection of 2 hollow spirit state martial uncles. I don't know how he is now. Okay, let's go to the Sword Valley now." Yemo released Zisu and flew towards the Sword Valley, taking Ganliang with him. Sword Valley had always been a top-grade sect in the South Peace State. It used to be the number 1 or 2 ranked sect in the 9-star sects, but 5,000 years ago, an internal conflict occurred. In this conflict, the Sword Valley was divided into 2 sections. Eventually, the 2 sects started fighting and countless masters died. After that battle, no one could afford to fight anymore. One sect left the Sword Valley and went missing. The other sect also lost too much battle power, and since then, Sword Valley had fallen. Even though the Sword Valley was counted as a 7-star sect, it was only due to their past glory. In fact, the strongest elder right now was only body condensation state peak stage. Even if a disaster transformation state cultivator came, he would be able to slaughter the entire Sword Valley. The current Sword Valley was dead silent. There was blood, bodies, and burnt structures everywhere. Even Yemo was furious seeing this. A few sword lights flashed and a figure stumbled over. Marshal Uncle Wong. Ganliang saw this and immediately charged up, wanting to help him. That figure saw Ganliang and spat a mouthful of blood. He just said, "Go to Tail Cliff," and died. Die. Before Ganliang could react, another sword light came that was about to cut Ganliang in half from the waist, but it was blocked by a purple ray. This was a hollow spirit state level 4 cultivator from Infinity Sect. With a clank, the purple ray scattered and that hollow spirit state cultivator was hacked at and sent flying, stopping more than 10 meters away. He looked at Yemo with shock. He was shocked because Yemo was only a hollow spirit state level 1 cultivator who had just reached hollow spirit state. He stayed here to see if there were any resources hidden, but he found a heavily injured hollow spirit state primary stage cultivator here. He had just killed him and met Yemo and Ganliang. Yemo put down the dead cultivator and released his longsword. Yemo waved his hand. "No need for you to attack. I can easily kill trash like him." Yemo wasn't bluffing. It was just one clash, but he knew that his cultivation essence and spirit sense were both stronger than this cultivator. Ganliang nodded. He didn't know what power level Yemo was at, but he couldn't do anything in a hollow spirit state level battle. That hollow spirit state cultivator was infuriated when he heard Yemo call him trash. He released an 8 trigram mirror. Yemo looked at the ancient chi emitting from it and knew it was an ancient artifact that was on par with a low-grade cultivation artifact. Before the cultivator could activate the mirror, Yemo hacked over multiple purple sword rays with Su using Illusion Cloud Essence Binding Strike. He wanted to know how long he could bind that cultivator with his current power level. Although the hollow spirit state didn't use his full power the first strike and could be said to be ambushed by Yemo, he still felt threatened. Although the hollow spirit state didn't use his full power the first strike and could be said to be ambushed by Yemo, he still felt threatened. So as soon as Yemo used his first strike, he raised his cultivation essence. Indeed, he felt his cultivation essence slow down as though being bound. The hollow spirit state middle stage immediately knew things weren't good. He forcefully released the 8 trigram mirror and broke free from cultivation essence bind using his full might. As soon as the mirror was released, it expanded in the air and completely covered Yemo. Before Yemo could use more illusion cloud strikes, he felt his sea of consciousness hurt. Yemo immediately realized that this was a spirit sense attack magic artifact. Spirit sense attack magic artifacts were much more powerful than ordinary magic artifacts. If Yemo didn't have a spirit sense cultivation method, even if his cultivation essence was stronger than it was now, he would suffer greatly to that mirror. Different than cultivator's own spirit sense attacks, the mirror didn't need to waste the cultivator's spirit sense. Even if the attack failed, it wouldn't affect the cultivator's spirit sense much. Yemo's pain was only for an instant. That hollow spirit state cultivator broke free from the essence, binding strike, and sneered. Yemo wasn't able to use another move after that strike, meaning that his 8 trigram mirror had succeeded. He didn't wait for Yemo to attack again and released his flying sword, wanting to kill Yemo with this strike. Yemo sneered. He used his purple eye soul sever when he knew this was a spirit sense attack magic artifact. These were level 3 purple eye soul sever spirit sense blades. It has always been him who attacked others with spirit sense, but today his sea of consciousness was attacked by someone else. That hollow spirit state didn't need to use his spirit sense to attack Yemo, but he had to use his spirit sense to control his 8 trigram mirror to attack Yemo. Yemo's spirit sense sword sliced over and was much stronger than his 8 trigram mirror. He just felt his sea of consciousness in huge pain. His 8 trigram mirror fell down uncontrollably. Yemo's Zisu had sliced out with Illusion Cloud Division Strike, and then Yi-Mo used his whirlpool strike right afterwards. That hollow spirit state cultivator just broke free from Yi-Mo's spirit sense sword. His sea of consciousness was still in shambles when he saw countless purple sword rays sweep across. Soon, he found that the purple sword rays multiplied rapidly. What sword technique was this? The hollow spirit state cultivator quickly took back his 8 trigram mirror, and it formed countless mirror shadows that tried to block the sword rays. The sword rays clashed with the mirror and made heavy thuds. The hollow spirit state's sea of consciousness was already injured, and Yi-Mo's purple sword rays seemed endless. He just blocked the first wave of attacks and spat out a mouthful of blood. He immediately wanted to take out a pill and eat it. But before he could, Yi-Mo's whirlpool strike with division strike came. If his sea of consciousness wasn't injured, he could still use the 8 trigram mirror to block the whirlpool strikes, but now, he was already struggling to control the 8 trigram mirror, much less block the endless flying whirlpool strikes. Such an absurd hollow spirit state level 1 cultivator. This hollow spirit state level 4 cultivator was shocked. He had begun to want to run away. He was sure he was no match for Yi-Mo. Even if he was hollow spirit state level 5 or level 6, he wouldn't be much stronger than this hollow spirit state level 1 cultivator. Although Yi-Mo had absolute dominance, he was unsatisfied. He felt that despite his illusion cloud strikes having 5 strikes and each strike having unique attributes, he didn't have a move that could settle the score. Thus, it would always end up in a stalemate with his enemies. Although he didn't show his full power yet, he still wasn't happy. He needed an overwhelming strike that would scare the enemy shitless, but the illusion cloud couldn't do that right now. Just when this hollow spirit state cultivator wanted to escape, Yi-Mo felt his force drop. Without hesitation, Yi-Mo slashed out with Zisu. This time he held Zisu in his hands. He was just thinking about how to hack out a domineering strike. But after slicing the sword, he had some enlightenment. The next moment, he didn't even look at the hollow spirit state cultivator. He didn't care if he hit or missed him. He just closed his eyes and focused on hacking out with his full strength. Ganliang saw that Yi-Mo had the upper hand and wanted to check on his dead martial uncle, but Yi-Mo's illusion cloud caught his eyes. He was very proud of his own wave sword technique. But after seeing Yi-Mo's illusion cloud strikes, he felt he was just a beginner. Suddenly, he saw Yi-Mizuri close his eyes and strike casually, but what bemused him was that the hollow spirit state cultivator actually paused for a moment. Then, Yi-Mo's purple sword brought purple sword rays that completely covered him. What sword technique was this? Ganliang stared dazedly at the purple kitchen knife Yi-Mo held. He felt this strike was many times more powerful than all of Yi-Mo's previous strikes combined. It gave him a feeling of unrelenting pursuit and invincibility. At the same time, he wanted to grasp that feeling, but he couldn't. Crack then, there was the sound of flesh flying. The Infinity Sect's hollow spirit state cultivator and his 8 trigram mirror were sliced in half by Yi-Mo. His essence spirit was also destroyed. Yi-Mo closed his eyes and opened after a long while. There was joy in his eyes. He actually had sudden enlightenment, and in that last strike, he mixed all the previous strikes together. This strike used up cultivation essence drastically, but it had this overwhelming force as though it would destroy everything in its path. Even if someone was a higher cultivation level than him, as long as his spirit sense and cultivation essence could keep up, this strike was unbeatable. Hua Mountain has one road. I just slice once. Yi-Mo clutched Zisu and knew that his illusion cloud strikes were finally half completed now. This would be illusion cloud 6 strike, illusion cloud Hua Mountain strike. Yi-Mo then took the hollow spirit state cultivator's storage ring and saw Ganliang looking at him with admiration. He then asked, "What did your martial uncle say?" Ganliang reacted and quickly said, "He told us to go to Tail Cliff. I think those in my sect who survived are there." "Okay, let's go there now. Pack away your martial uncle's things and bury him." Yi-Mo nodded. At this moment, on an extreme-grade flying ship, for cultivators surrounded a heavily injured middle-aged man on a mattress in melancholy. The middle-aged man smiled. "Our Sword Valley has experienced countless disasters over the years, but we still stood until today. As long as one sect member lives on, we can strike back again. So what if it's the 9-star sect Infinity Sect? It will be our Sword Valley sect member who annihilates them. The middle-aged man looked at the 4 cultivators and said, "My essence blood is destroyed now. There's nothing I can do. I hope that as long as any of you survive, you will not forget revenge. Our Sword Valley cultivators need to have sword chi and sword bones. We're not people who are scared of death. What happened to us today will be the consequence of the Infinity Sect." "Yes, sect leader," the 4 said without hesitation. The middle-aged man's eyes flashed with some sadness. "I owe the Sword Valley. I didn't bring it to prosperity." But then, he looked at a young female sect member. "Luo Fei, you know Pil Qingyi. We went to Tail Cliff not to escape to the Heartless Sea, but to go to Pill City. Luo Fei, now I will order you to be the next sect leader. Take them from Tail Cliff to South P City, and then take the teleportation formation to Pill City and ask Pil Qingyi for protection. I haven't seen Pil Qingyi, but since he dares to kill Tian Alfing, he must be a hero. He won't reject this." "Huh." Luo Fei immediately dazed. She didn't expect the sect leader to pass the position to her. She was only a Foundation Establishment State Level 9 cultivator. She wasn't even Golden Core State. The middle-aged man sighed. "Luo Fei, don't feel guilty. The Infinity Sect attacked us not completely due to you and Yunzi. It's because that old man wants a sword cultivation method from us. It's called One Strike. It's a supreme sword cultivation method." The middle-aged man sneered, "But he made the wrong move. That sword cultivation method was lost 1,000 years ago. Otherwise, how could our Sword Valley fall to this extent? We're not even a 7-star sect." The middle-aged man sneered, "But he made the wrong move. That sword cultivation method was lost 1,000 years ago. Otherwise, how could our Sword Valley fall to this extent? We're not even a 7-star sect." "Luo Fei, if you pass the position of sect leader to another sect member in the future, remember that finding this lost sword cultivation method is the responsibility of all sect members." "Yes, sect leader. Luo Fei will remember your words." Luo Fei knew of the sect leader's struggles. After she became sect leader, she wasn't going to cast aside Sword Valley for sure. He wanted her to seek protection from EMO and in turn let the Sword Valley survive. Even if the sect leader didn't say anything, she wasn't going to cast aside the Sword Valley. Their annihilation was due to her. How could she just leave them? She had decided that even if she was to die, she was going to bring prosperity to the Sword Valley and get them revenge. The middle-aged man clearly knew what Luo Fei was thinking, and a sliver of approval flashed across his eyes. Then, he closed his eyes. When the sect members looked at him again, they found that their sect leader had passed away. Just when Luo Fei wanted to say something, the oldest man from the Sword Valley said, "Sect leader, there's a flying ship behind chasing up here. It's probably the Infinity Sect." Luo Fei's face changed. They were facing a big enemy, but she realized that the highest level power in their group was only a hollow spirit state primary stage, who was the old man. There was a martial sister younger than her who was Golden Core State Level 3. The other martial brother was only Golden Core State Level 6. "Martial Uncle Jia, let's free the flying ship's restrictions first and think of another idea," Luo Fei said worriedly. 15 minutes later, Yimo had left Sword Valley thousands of kilometers behind. The direction they were heading to was the Tail Cliff. Yimo had never been to the Tail Cliff, but Ganliang knew. The Tail Cliff was like Mo High City. It was near the Heartless Sea, but was on the east side of South Peace State. Tail Cliff was a place where solo cultivators gathered, so it was easier to escape there. Even if the Infinity Sect's people hunted them to there, they could escape into the Heartless Sea. The Heartless Sea was dangerous, but much better than getting annihilated. Of course, that was Gan Liang's idea, but Yimo didn't feel things were so. They could escape into the Heartless Sea from Tail Cliff, but if they went into the deep sea of the Heartless Sea, they would almost certainly be dead. Yimo went on Zhisu, and even though he took Gan Liang with him, he was extremely fast. Half a day later, volatile cultivation essence waves appeared before them. Yimo saw that 2 ships were stopped ahead, and they seemed to be fighting. One ship seemed to be attacking the other. The other's shield was trying its best to defend with the formation restrictions. There was actually only one hollow spirit state cultivator attacking, and the other two cultivators were watching on the side. Yemo knew that it was only a matter of time before the restriction was broken, and this was just with one person attacking. If those people attacked together, then the flying ship restriction would have already been broken. It's our ship. The bastards from Infinity Sect are attacking. Ganliang immediately yelled. Yemo scanned the flying ship with his spirit sense and indeed found the Sword Valley logo on one of them, but nothing on the other ship. He wondered how Ganliang recognized it. Come down first. Just stand guard for me, Yemo said. Yemo could tell that the three cultivators on the attacking ship were all hollow spirit state cultivators. There was one hollow spirit state tertiary stage. Yemo knew that regardless of whether there were more cultivators inside, just these three would be quite enough for him to handle. If they joined together, he might not be a match. If a body condensation state cultivator came out of the ship, it would be hard for him to even get away. When Yemo came up, the hollow spirit state cultivators also saw him. But Yemo didn't do anything, so neither did they. This was because Yemo was only hollow spirit state level 1. A mere hollow spirit state level 1 cultivator was clearly not enough to play tricks in front of them. Yemo didn't say anything. He just went up and started throwing down formation flags. Theoretically, if there was a body condensation state cultivator inside the attacking ship, he should have felt that power, but he didn't feel anything. What are you doing? The hollow spirit state level 3 cultivator asked in anger. Yemo laid down formation flags as he spoke. I want to kill you. You're asking to die. The cultivator spat and released his magic artifact. Yemo was a mere hollow spirit state level 1 cultivator facing against them, 3 hollow spirit state cultivators. Before they attacked, Yemo hacked out with Zisu. Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike. With this, purple shadows appeared all over the sky. The space seemed to condense. The hollow spirit state cultivator who was about to attack Yemo felt his cultivation essence pause. Before he could react, those heaven-covering purple sword rays swept over. He was shocked to find that after the purple sword rays, there was whirlpool sword chi. This sword chi seemed to have a will of its own and sealed off all his exits. In that brief moment of time, he felt that it was just one strike and just one long sword ray. This sword ray had an indomitable temperament, as though it would be relentless until it did what it wanted to do. This wasn't it. There seemed to be countless sparkles attached to the purple sword ray that could fly out at any moment. When that purple sword ray arrived before him, the hollow spirit state just realized that he had no way to block it, nor did he have the time to release his magic artifact. Splurge flesh and blood flew. This hollow spirit state level 3 didn't even get to release his magic artifact and was killed by Yemo's one strike. I overestimated you. Yemo sneered and threw out more formation flags. This was the first time Yemo used Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike, other than that moment of enlightenment when he created this move. Still, he actually killed this hollow spirit state level 3 in one strike. From this, it was obvious that Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike was his strongest strike. However, he felt this was not worth it to be used on a cultivator about the same cultivation level as him. The other two hollow spirit state cultivators looked in surprise at Yemo. Now, they were certain that Yemo wasn't hollow spirit state level 1 power. They would never believe that a hollow spirit state level 1 could kill a hollow spirit state level 3 with one strike so fast that they didn't have time to intervene. At the same time, the Sword Valley cultivators knew that even with just one of the enemies attacking their restriction, they wouldn't last long. The reason there was only one attacking was just to play around with them. Indeed, moments later, their restriction was broken. But what they didn't expect was that after their restriction was broken, the enemies didn't come in. The only hollow spirit state cultivator in Sword Valley had an extremely strange look on his face, as though he had seen something unfathomable. What's wrong, Martial Uncle Jia? Luo Fei asked. Martial Uncle Jia said, there's one hollow spirit state level 1 cultivator who was fighting a hollow spirit state level 3 from Infinity Sect, but he killed that hollow spirit state level 3 in one strike. Huh. Luo Fei was shook. She didn't know who would dare to fight with Infinity Sect and kill their hollow spirit state cultivator. But she immediately knew what this meant to them and said, Martial Uncle Jia, Let's quickly go out and see. At this moment, the two hollow spirit states reacted, and that hollow spirit state tertiary stage yelled, "Who are you? How dare you kill our infinity sect member?" Yemo's spirit sense wasn't able to scan inside, but even until now, no one came out. This made him feel safer. If there were just these two hollow spirit state cultivators, he really wasn't afraid. Yemo's spirit sense wasn't able to scan inside, but even until now, no one came out. This made him feel safer. If there were just these two hollow spirit state cultivators, he really wasn't afraid. Yemo pulled down his face mask magic artifact and said coldly, "Mo you cities Yemo. Out here for the specific purpose of killing Infinity Sect trash." Then, before they could reply, Zissou hacked out again. At the same time, he secretly let out Shadowless. There was one hollow spirit state level 4 and one hollow spirit state level 7. Ever since Shadowless evolved to pure gold, he had never used him in battle. "It's you." The hollow spirit state tertiary stage cultivator's eyes went red. He said no more and released an oval-shaped magic artifact. As a hollow spirit state cultivator, he knew some of the high-level things in the sect. Yuan Guanan was killed by this guy, and now that this guy was in front of him, how could he show mercy? This was the first time that Yemo saw a magic artifact like this. It was like a toilet. Two different colored rays shot out from the two sides, one black and one red. Yemo's sword ray was swept by the two colors and dimmed down. Even Zissou almost flew out of his hand. Yemo was shook and hacked out a spirit sense sword. He took Zissou back, but wasn't able to keep using Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike. The hollow spirit state tertiary stage saw that his magic artifact didn't sweep away Yemo's purple kitchen knife and was a little surprised, but then he sneered, "To be able to clutch your shitty kitchen knife so tightly under my dual-color primordial bag, you have some capabilities, but I will let you no regret for daring to kill our Infinity Sect member." Yemo didn't wait for this hollow spirit state tertiary stage to keep attacking and hacked out 13 strikes. The heavenly covering purple sword rays instantly surrounded the hollow spirit state level 7, but he sneered in contempt. Little trick. However, Yemo's target wasn't him but the hollow spirit state level 4. He knew that even if he could kill the hollow spirit state level 7, it wouldn't be quick, so he had to kill that hollow spirit state level 4 first. So, Yemo used Illusion Cloud Division Strike, Exert will strike and Formation Kill strike to trap the hollow spirit state level 7 while he attacked the hollow spirit state level 4. The hollow spirit state level 4 released his magic artifact. It was also a sword but seemed much more aesthetically pleasing than Yemo's kitchen knife. He was scared of Yemo's strike that he had used to kill the hollow spirit state level 3. Yemo's Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike already hacked over. He didn't see clearly this strike, but he knew the power of it very clearly. It was a strike that was unrelenting. He didn't have the dual-colored primordial bag, so he released his sword and a black square shield before Zissou came to him. The strike gave him too much shock, and he didn't expect Yemo to be ambushing him while fighting his martial brother. The longsword was released and drew out a 10-meter-long white ray, as though trying to cut Zissou and Yemo in half. Yemo knew this wasn't a sword technique, but magic arts. However, Yemo didn't stop at all. He hacked out Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike and clashed with the long sword. An ear-screeching sound came and purple rays splashed everywhere. The white ray disappeared, but Zissou was stopped. Yemo grunted and didn't take back Zissou. He hacked again. In his desperation, that cultivator used his black square shield. With a thud, Zissou hacked into the shield and that cultivator spat out a mouthful of blood. The dark color on the shield faded, and before Yemo's third strike came, he used a rune. As soon as the rune was thrown out, it exploded, discharging a lightning arc the size of a baby's arm towards Yemo. Yemo sneered and ignored the lightning arc. If it was some other rune he might consider dodging, but for a lightning arc like that, he wouldn't even frown if there were 7 or 8. Even the smallest lightning arc in his divine damnation was stronger than this. This lightning arc was enough to even damage hollow spirit state tertiary stage cultivators, but it was useless against him. Seeing that Yemo ignored his rune and kept attacking, The hollow spirit state level 4 cultivator's mouth was wide open in shock. He didn't understand why Emo wanted to suicide. Even if he killed him, would he be able to deal with this rune? At this instant, Emo felt some danger, but Emo had no intentions of taking back his strike. He knew that the danger was coming not from the rune, but the hollow spirit state level 7 cultivator. He immediately released his octagonal cauldron. Even if he got injured, he would kill one first. Zissou hacked onto the hollow spirit state level 4, and the hollow spirit state cultivator fell helplessly from the sky in a splash of blood. Emo also instantly spat a few mouthfuls of blood. The octagonal cauldron made a huge buzzing sound. He knew this was the hollow spirit state level 7 ambushing him. Emo ate a pill and looked coldly at the furious hollow spirit state level 7. He was by himself now. Although Emo only set up a level 4 formation in a rush, he knew that it might actually be the key to turn the tides for him. It's City Lord Yi. Luo Fei saw Emo, and her eyes went red. Martial Brother Guan, you're fine? Great. The two Golden Core State disciples immediately rejoiced. Gan Liang greets Martial Uncle Jia, Martial Brother Miao, and Martial Sister. Is the sect leader all right? Gan Liang bowed to the old man and asked. Gan Liang thought Emo was at least Hollow Spirit State peak stage to be able to kill that Hollow Spirit State level 3, so he wasn't worried. Martial Brother gone. Sect leader he's gone. The current sect leader is Martial Sister Fei. Sect leader told us to listen to her. The youngest female disciple said dejectedly. Gan Liang's eyes turned red. He had entered Sword Valley at a young age. His character and sword were both taught by the sect leader. Martial Brother gone. Don't feel too bad. We need to bring Sword Valley into prosperity. What we need to do now is not make the sect leader disappointed. Luo Fei quickly comforted. Gan Liang immediately bowed. You're the sect leader now. You must not call me Martial Brother. Luo Fei nodded. Okay, just call me sect leader Martial Sister. Sect leader is too distant. Martial Brother gone. Did that powerful Qian Bei come with you? Who is he? The youngest female disciple asked. Gan Liang said respectfully, sect leader Martial Sister knows this Qian Bei. He's the level 7 Pill King from Pill City, the number 1 in the Pill King tournament, Qian Bei. After knowing that the Infinity Sect attacked us, he came with me. It's really Pill King Qian Bei. The other Golden Core State level 6 youth also said in shock. Emo didn't seem much older than them but was already a Pill King and could instantly kill 2 Hollow Spirit State primary stage cultivators. So strong. The Hollow Spirit State Elder exclaimed. He could tell that Emo was only Hollow Spirit State level 1 yet. He not only killed a Hollow Spirit State level 3 and 4 instantly, but was fighting head-on with a Hollow Spirit State level 7. At this moment, the Hollow Spirit State level 7 released the dual-color primordial bag again, and the black and red rays fused together, charging at Emo. At the same time, the Hollow Spirit State also charged at Emo. He didn't use any magic artifact and just struck with his fist. It was just an ordinary punch, but Emo felt the air flow around him grow chaotic. Instantly, that fist formed an almost 2-meter-long hammer. This wasn't just a fist or even an arm. This was a magic artifact, one that was on par with extreme-grade spirit artifacts. Emo was shocked that a Hollow Spirit State cultivator could cultivate his own fist to such a terrifying extent. This wasn't just a fist or even an arm. This was a magic artifact, one that was on par with extreme-grade spirit artifacts. Emo was shocked that a Hollow Spirit State cultivator could cultivate his own fist to such a terrifying extent. Although Emo knew that he could stop this fist with his octagonal cauldron, he only controlled 3 layers of restrictions. Judging by the power of this fist, the concussion was enough to make him heavily injured again. In that instant, Emo didn't think about how to stop this fist. Instead of thought of the Wu God chant. The Wu God chant was a body cultivation method. He robbed it from Peng Wei and gave it to Kai Ji. Then, he never thought about this body cultivation method again. He thought that if he cultivated the Wu God chant and his body was powerful too, would he be able to make a punch like that? However, Emo knew that was impractical. He wanted to call back Zissou and block the fist with it, but in that instant, his connection with Zissou was lost. Before Yimo could think, that huge fist was before him. Yimo could only let the octagonal cauldron block it, but he was sent flying. Yimo spat blood while in the air and calmed down. He knew that this cultivator's power was on par with his. He just wanted to call back Zissou now. However, Zissou was being bound by the two rays that completely blocked off Yimo's spirit sense. The hollow spirit state cultivator seemed to know that Yimo wasn't able to call back Zissou and separated two more rays from the bag while punching again. Before the two rays neared Yimo, they were severed by Yimo's spirit sense sword. But even so, Yimo felt his sea of consciousness shake. He felt threatened by the black and red rays. This time, Yimo didn't wait for him to punch out and used tins of spirit sense swords. This was the first time he used so many spirit sense strikes at once. His face immediately went pale. The red and black rays were dissipated by Yimo's spirit sense strike. Yimo waved his hand, and Zissou flew back into his hands. The cultivator was shocked to see this, and before he could react, he felt pain in his sea of consciousness. He was certain now that Yimo had a spirit sense cultivation method, and an offensive one too. Before the cultivator could use the bag again, he hacked out with Zissou. The cultivator didn't waste time, and punched while using the primordial bag. Zissou and the fist clashed together. However, the power of the strike wasn't fully activated. With a crack, something seemed to have been broken, and that hollow spirit state cultivator spat blood like crazy, flying back with a bloody fist. Even though the illusion cloud Hua Mountain strike wasn't fully activated, it couldn't be blocked by a fist, even if the fist was on the level of an extreme-grade spirit artifact. Yimo sneered and threw out a few formation flags. Rumble's 6 black lightning bolts were released. Although there were just 6 in the first wave, there seemed to be countless afterwards. Before the first wave even struck, the second wave arrived. The lightning arcs weren't ordinary ones. They were like tiny lightning swords that would cause injury immediately. The hollow spirit state didn't expect Yimo had lightning-style attacks and was immediately struck by a few lightning arcs. You're a lightning element cultivator. This is Lightning Cloud Sect's 11 lightning swords. The hollow spirit state said in shock. Yimo wasn't going to reply to this. He felt concerned about that bag and felt that this cultivator didn't even use its full power. If he did, Yimo would suffer greatly. So while the opponent was busy, Yimo used a spirit sense strike again to try to sever his control of the bag. But no matter what, the bag was still under his control. Yimo used spirit sense strikes repetitively, and his sea of consciousness grew very tired. Seeing that it didn't work, he stopped using spirit sense strikes and hacked out with Zissou again. The lightning sword was powerful, but it was impractical to think of killing the opponent with it. The hollow spirit state tertiary stage was very shocked. Yimo was a pill king and had so many offensive means, with each one being extremely powerful. If things went on like this, he wouldn't be able to gain the upper hand at all. His fist was still injured. He knew how powerful his fist was. It was an extreme-grade spirit artifact. With his powerful cultivation essence, even if a body condensation state cultivator was struck by his full-powered punch, he would be blown to pieces, but it was stopped by this guy's kitchen knife. He wanted to run. As long as he sent out the news, Yimo wouldn't be able to get away. He didn't need to fight himself. Thinking about running, he immediately took back that primordial bag. However, Yimo already sent out Shadowless. How could Yimo not be able to tell this cultivator wanted to run away? Shadowless, who had been lurking, charged out without hesitation while Zissou hacked out again. The illusion cloud Hua Mountain strike was only enough to stop this cultivator for the blink of an eye, but that time was enough for Shadowless to ambush him. When he was ambushed by Shadowless, he immediately knew things weren't good. He enveloped Shadowless with his cultivation essence while punching again. His momentum weakened the moment he thought of running. Meanwhile, Yimo's Hua Mountain strike relied on momentum and temperament. The weaker the opponent's momentum was, the more unstoppable Hua Mountain strike was. Zissou clashed with his fist. His fist immediately split apart, and the entire arm was blown to nothing. Even so, the hollow spirit state cultivator calmly used blood escape. This hollow spirit state level 1 was unimaginably powerful. He had never thought that a hollow spirit state level 1 would be this powerful. He wasn't even sure how many more cards EMO had to play. He just wanted to run now. As long as he got away, there would be more powerful people from his sect coming to kill EMO. With a thud, the hollow spirit state crashed into EMO's formation. At the same time, Shadowless and Zisu attacked again. You're also a formation great master. Even in his death, this hollow spirit state didn't dare to believe that this guy was a pill king that fought this crazily and was also a formation great master. EMO panted while collecting his formation flags. He also took the primordial bag to study. This hollow spirit state level 7 was really hard to kill. He almost got away. If he had, then the Infinity Sect would know he was here and would send masters to stop him. If it was body condensation state and above, there was no way for him to live. EMO went on the unmanned flying ship of the Infinity Sect and waved to Gon Liang and them. Put away that ship and come here. This was a low-grade cultivation artifact flying ship, while the Sword Valleys was just an extreme-grade spirit artifact. Luo Fei and the rest of the people watched in a daze as EMO fought that hollow spirit state level 7 cultivator. They were all shocked by the endless amount of methods EMO had, especially the hollow spirit state level 2 old man from Sword Valley. This was the first time he had seen a hollow spirit state level 1 powerful to this extent. He even killed a hollow spirit state level 7 and only paid the price of being injured. When EMO called them over, they finally reacted. The old man put away the flying ship and the sect leader's body and came to the low-grade cultivation artifact flying ship. Luo Fei, sorry, I brought this disaster to you. EMO saw that Luo Fei's eyes were red and she was unable to talk. City Lord Yi. Luo Fei called out and didn't know what to say. EMO said guiltily, just call me Martial Brother or Big Brother Yi. We're old friends too. I brought this disaster upon you. EMO said guiltily, just call me Martial Brother or Big Brother Yi. We're old friends too. I brought this disaster upon you. He then paused and asked, where did Yunzi go? Do you know? Luo Fei wiped her eyes. The sect was in a mess and the sect leader knew that we were no match for the Infinity Sect, so he told the sect members to scatter. Z went missing. EMO knew that in such a situation, there was no way to find out where Yunzi was. She might even have been killed. He didn't ask Luo Fei anymore. Regardless of whether or not she was killed, they were friends, and she had to face this calamity due to him. Now, he was determined to annihilate the Infinity Sect. Luo Fei introduced a few more people to EMO. It was that hollow spirit state level 2 old man. He was a forgery master of Sword Valley called Mi Zhenjie. The Golden Core State Level 6 youth was Miao Warren and the Golden Core State Level 3 girl was Huang Lanlan. At the same time, he knew that Luo Fei was the current sect leader of Sword Valley. EMO knew what the previous sect leader's intention was in passing the sect leader to Luo Fei, but he had made up his mind to help re-establish the Sword Valley. EMO's Simply Spirit controlled the flying ship and gave it to Mi Zhenjie to control. He changed the destination to Pill City. After a conversation, the two were feeling sentimental, but EMO suddenly thought of something and his face changed drastically. What is it, Big Brother Yi? Luo Fei asked. She began to worry too, as her fate was joined together with EMO's. If something happened to him, she wouldn't be better off as well. Since the Infinity Sect dares to go to Sword Valley and find you too, then they would go to Black Ice Sect to find Beiwei and Susu, EMO said heavily. He subconsciously thought that since Black Ice Sect was a 9-star sect, ordinary people didn't dare to provoke them at all, but now he woke up after talking with Luo Fei for a while. Luo Fei realized this too and began to worry. She knew all too well what Sister Susu meant to EMO. What if something happened to her? But then she knew that there was no point in worrying and could only comfort. Sister Susu is at Black Ice Sect. No matter how cocky they are, they wouldn't dare to do what they did to Sword Valley to Black Ice Sect. EMO heard this and felt a little comforted. But then he said, I'm going to see the Black Ice Sect. Susu and Beiwei don't have much support there. What if the Infinity Sect entices them with benefits or forces the Black Ice Sect? Who knows what could happen? I've heard that the Black Ice Sect has declined, They've only got one truth realization state cultivator and are just a little bit stronger than an 8-star sect. Ever since the Pill King tournament, the Black Eye sect was nowhere to be seen, and they didn't send people to him for pill concoction. This was a staying extra low-key. Yi Mo told Uncle Jia to change the direction to Black Eye sect. After half a day, he heard a big laugh. Yi Mo was shaken. Who was this? That laugh was clearly very distant, but he heard it right next to his ear. A truth realization state cultivator. Yi Mo realized that it was at least a truth realization state cultivator who had laughed. Yi Mo broke out in a cold sweat. No matter how powerful he was only an insect to a truth realization state cultivator. Kid, I just went out for a spin and you were gone. You have your wife at home that you don't stay with, and instead you're here looking for some fresh girls. You're indeed a playboy. However, Yi Mo breathed easy instead. An old man appeared before him. It was Earth Forgery God Lu Wu Hu. Yi Mo wanted to laugh. He had looked for him a few times and he wasn't there. Now, he came to blame him. However, for a Qian Bei master like him, Yi Mo had to pay his respects. Yi Mo greets Lu Qian Bei. Yi Mo quickly got up and saluted with his fists. Haha, I never make losing deals. I know you're thinking about what you owe me. Don't worry, I'll let you pay me back today. Lu Wu Hu said to Luo Fei, girl, go out for a while first. You can have fun with him later. Luo Fei blushed and said respectfully, Qian Bei, you're kidding. Yi Mo is like a brother to Wan Bei. Then she said, Wan Bei will go for now. If it was someone that even Yi Mo respected a lot, he must not be ordinary. Luo Fei quickly left. Lu Wu, who clearly didn't care much about what Luo Fei said. He looked at Yi Mo and said, you've offended a lot of people. I went out searching for you but found a lot of bad people watching you. Yi Mo smiled calmly. Qian Bei is right. Wan Bei did indeed offend some people. Qian Bei came from Pill City. I wonder. Lu Wu Hu waved his hand. You don't need to ask. Your wife is fine. She's Golden Core State Peak stage now. It seems you have quite a lot of good stuff too. You went out for a spin and reached Hollow Spirit State Power now. I've been invited by the Black Eye sect. Are you planning to go there too? Did you get invited too? Yi Mo rejoiced. He just wanted to go to Black Eye sect and now Lu Wu Hu was here. How convenient. Lu Wu Hu made him owe him clearly because he needed his help. Yi Mo would be an idiot not to ask him for him help now. Yi Mo laughed. Yes, Qian Bei. I was planning to go to Black Eye sect, but I wasn't invited. Lu Wu Hu said straightforwardly, Black Eye sect is having a marriage alliance with Infinity sect. They invited a lot of people and I was invited too. But other than this, there's something else important. That's why I came. He then drank a sip of wine gloatingly, as though it was something honorable that he was invited, but Yi Mo wasn't. But Yi Mo wasn't in the mood. His heart sunk after hearing Lu Wu Hu's words. Without a doubt, it was Susu or Bei Wei, but it was more likely to be Susu. Seeing that Yi Mo didn't talk, Lu Wu Hu said, What? Is it because the girl for marriage is South P State's #1 beauty, so you're interested too? Don't worry. As long as you go, you have an opportunity to. It was Susu indeed. Yi Mo wanted to fly to Black Eye sect immediately, but he had to keep his calm. He asked respectfully, Qian Bei, where's my opportunity? Wow, you're really into that girl? Not bad. That girl is indeed very pretty. You do match with her? Then, he suddenly stopped and laughed at Yi Mo. Do you know you owe me one? Usually, Yi Mo would be speechless. This old man brought it up countless times, but now, he really wasn't in the mood. Seeing that Yi Mo didn't seem to be too happy, Lu Wu Hu changed the topic. We'll talk about the debt later. I'll help you again. Originally, that girl didn't agree, but although she agreed later, she said that there had to be a fighting tournament to win her. The person who gets #1 on the stage can be her husband. Your hollow spirit state now, you have some chance. Yi Mo frowned and suddenly said, That's impossible. Why is it impossible? Lu Wu Hu asked strangely. That girl wouldn't agree to this way of picking a husband. There must be some inside story. Yi Mo's tone was agitated. Lu Wu Hu glanced at Yi Mo in surprise and suddenly said, Do you know that girl too? Last time she came to Pill City, I didn't see you two being very close. I just saw you very close to your Shui wife. Susu came to Pill City last time? Yimo was dazed. Was it not Susu? Yimo looked at Lu Wuhu in confusion. What is that girl's name from Black Ice Sect? Lu Wuhu glared at Yimo. When did I say the girl was from Black Ice Sect? She's from the Infinity Sect, called One Tsai. The Infinity Sect and Black Ice Sect were going to have a marriage alliance, and that One Tsai girl said she wanted a powerful husband. So the genius disciples in Black Ice Sect have to contest. If you want to compete too, I can get you a spot. Same as last time. You owe me one again. Yi Imo breathed easy. He thought it was Susu, but it was actually Wen Tsai. He didn't care who Wen Tsai married at all. But then, Yi Imo thought it must be related to Susu. Susu probably rejected them, so they took out a genius disciple to give away first, and then take Susu away. If that was the case, he had to go quickly. Yimo calmed down and quickly waved his hand. Qianbei, don't try to scam me anymore. I can't even fall asleep due to owing you already, and now you want me to owe you more? Yimo calmed down and quickly waved his hand. Qianbei, don't try to scam me anymore. I can't even fall asleep due to owing you already, and now you want me to owe you more. Okay. Lu Wuhu smiled and suddenly popped up to Yimo. If you're worrying about that debt, then how about I ask you something? If you reply, then you don't owe me anymore. How about it? That's simple. Yimo looked at Lu Wuhu in disbelief. Lu Wuhu was a Qianbei master, but from Jingyingli, he knew that this guy didn't make losing deals. How could someone like him just ask one question? Lu Wuhu said casually, yeah, it's that simple. Okay, then ask, I'll listen carefully. As long as I know, I'll answer. If he could pay Lu Wuhu back this easily, he would rather owe him a few favors. Lu Wuhu thought casually with a sigh. It's really hard to ask a casual question. Should I ask how old you are? Or? Yimo glared his eyes in disbelief. It couldn't be that simple of a question. He quickly said, then ask how old I am. I'll tell you I. Lu Wuhu suddenly stopped Yimo from talking and said, I suddenly thought of a question. You're a pill king, so you must know a lot. I saw a herb at my friend's place last time. It looks like a bamboo, but my friend says it's not. I'll draw it to you. Do you know it? Lu Wuhu took out a white blank paper and drew. A green bamboo plant appeared on the paper. Different than ordinary bamboo, the leaves were very big, many times bigger than ordinary bamboo leaves. The leaf shape was also crescent-shaped. Also, the leaves started appearing at the root area. Yimo immediately realized this was the bitter bamboo. This meant that Lu Wuhu knew he had the bitter bamboo. But then Yimo thought, this is impossible. If he knew that he had bitter bamboo, then he wouldn't need to act like that. Clearly, he felt he didn't know the bitter bamboo. That's why he drew it. Plus, his bitter bamboo was in his golden page world. No matter how powerful Lu Wuhu, he wouldn't be able to reach his spirit sense into his golden page world. But why did Lu Wuhu ask this question? Seeing Yimo stare at it and not speak, Lu Wuhu asked worriedly, do you know this bamboo? Or have you seen it? Hearing this, Yimo realized that Lu Wuhu was sure he had seen the bitter bamboo, and perhaps he had bitter bamboo chi on him. That's why he wanted to know the location of the bitter bamboo through him. The bitter bamboo wasn't just an extreme-grade spirit item, but also an utmost highest forgery material. It was no wonder that Lu Wuhu could feel the bitter bamboo chi. Yimo looked at it for a while and shook his head. I haven't seen this bamboo. It's very strange. It's like bamboo, but not really. That's impossible. You must have seen it. Lu Wuhu called out immediately. Yimo shook his head again. Lu Qianbei, although I haven't seen this bamboo, but I've seen this bamboo leaf. Really? Lu Wuhu immediately rejoiced and looked at Yimo fervently. Tell me, where is it? Yimo realized that Lu Wuhu knew he had seen the bitter bamboo from the chi on him. Bitter bamboo was too important to Yimo. Even if Lu Wuhu tried to rob it from him, he wasn't going to give it. But this Lu Wuhu really knew how to resist, and only asked now. Yimo took out the bitter bamboo leaf he used for his divine damnation and said, It's on me, have a look. Lu Wuhu grabbed it and said very excitedly, It's really bitter bamboo leaf, it really is. He just felt there seemed a bitter bamboo chi on Yemo, but he wasn't too sure. He didn't expect it to be real. He looked at the leaf again and again. His hands were shaking with excitement. Wait, Lu Wu who suddenly said, "There's no way you can take off the bitter bamboo leaf unless it has a master." But how is that possible? Lu Wu who then studied Yemo from head to toe again. Yemo was shook. He must not let this old guy see something. He suddenly thought, was he able to dig out the bitter bamboo because it approved of him as master? Yemo said, "I picked up this leaf from the Truthful Palace Forbidden Grounds. There was a big black mountain, and it was covered with black lightning. Ordinary people can't go up at all. I just walked past the bottom of the mountain. It was still very far from the actual mountain, and I picked up the leaf there. I felt this leaf was very nice, so I picked it up. Ever since then I've been cultivating while holding this leaf, and it feels very good. So this is the bitter bamboo leaf?" Lu Wu who heard this and murmured, "It's really in the Truthful Palace Forbidden Grounds. There really is World Mountain there. That means the bitter bamboo is also there." Lu Wu who looked at Yemo and said, "It's natural that you don't know this. This is an ancient thing. Although it has some benefits for your cultivation, it's limited. The main purpose is for forgery. But then again, your luck is insane. You can even encounter the bitter bamboo leaf. I've been to the Truthful Palace a few times. How come I haven't met the bitter bamboo?" 30 years later, Yemo was speechless. This old guy dared to trick him by saying that the bitter bamboo had no use for cultivation. But clearly, this guy would find someone to go look for it 30 years later. Unfortunately, the bitter bamboo was already sitting in the Golden Page world. Even if he could get it, could he afford to raise it? Can I make a deal with you? This bitter bamboo leaf is a good forgery item, and I'm a forgery grandmaster. But about? Yemo looked at him in shock. "Qian Bei, you're not trying to rob me of this cultivation magical artifact, are you? I've already paid you back." Lu Wu who felt a little awkward. He couldn't lower himself to rob it, but he didn't want to give up the bitter bamboo leaf he just got. "How about I get you a spot for the Black Ice Sect tournament?" "No, you don't need to compete. I will speak to the Infinity Sect leader and give that girl as your wife." Lu Wu who patted his chest. Yemo wanted to laugh, but he pretended his heart was aching. "Since it's a forgery treasure, then I'll give it to you." "Thank you. Thank you, Pil King Yi. No, brother Yi. We're brothers from now on," Lu Wu who said happily as he took out a jade box about to place it in carefully. "Wait." Yemo stopped Lu Wu who. Seeing that Lu Wu who was a little worried, Yemo said, "Although bitter bamboo leaf is my best treasure, I'm willing to give it to Lu Qian Bei. No, just call me Brother Lu. Who are we? Don't be so distant." Lu Wu who quickly smiled. Yemo thought, "I didn't see you being so intimate right at the start," but he laughed and said, "In that case, Brother Lu." Lu Wu who then put the bitter bamboo away and waved his hand. "Then we don't need to be so distant with each other. Brother Lu, I have 3 things I need your help for," Yemo said without hesitation. "Say it. As long as brother can help, I will do it for sure." Lu Wu who waved his hand. "Okay, first I want you to forge a magic artifact for me," Yemo said. "No worries. Second, if I have an opponent I can't beat, Brother Lu can help me 20 times. 10 times is fine." "That's fine." Lu Wu who just wanted to answer, but he immediately looked at Yemo. "Wait, I can't be your henchman." "Oh." Yemo didn't say anything. "Okay, I'll help you 3 times, and there are a few cultivation artifacts here. You can choose one." He took out a stack of cultivation artifacts. Yemo rejoiced and found a long sword there. He chose that long sword because it was the only top-grade cultivation artifact. "Okay, what's the last thing?" Lu Wu who put them away and asked. Yemo smiled. "I want to bring 10 people here from North Far State." Lu Wu who quickly waved his hand. "Impossible, even I can't do that. I can maybe do 1, but 10 is definitely impossible. The cost of the teleportation formation from North Far State is too high. Don't even think about it. Change it to something else." Yemo also knew that was probably impossible, so he said, "Then I'll copy you, Brother Lu. You owe me 1 too. I'll ask for it next time." The Black Ice Mountain was the location of the Black Ice sect, and the Black Ice Peak was the main peak of Black Ice Mountain. Usually, no one could come here other than the peak leader and a few elders, but today, the formation was open and wave after wave of people came. The Black Ice Mountain was the location of the Black Ice sect, and the Black Ice Peak was the main peak of Black Ice Mountain. Usually, no one could come here other than the peak leader and a few elders, but today, the formation was open and wave after wave of people came. When Yemo came to the Black Ice sect, Lu Wu Hu's name was of great use. Before Lu Wu Hu even reported his name, the greeting sect member already recognized him and respectfully brought him into the guest hall. Yemo and them followed Lu Wu Hu in and found that this hall was extremely huge. There was a large, spacious area in the middle. At this moment, the hall was filled with cultivators. There were rows of seats on the left and right. In the front row, all sat people with high status. Yemo didn't need to scan with spirit sense to know that all the people here were not at a lower cultivation level than him. There were many people whom Yemo knew. Some were 8-star or 9-star sect leaders and elders. There were a few solo cultivators who were also famous. Yemo had met them all at the Pill City. Seeing these people come, Yemo had a bad feeling. Even if the Infinity sect was going to have a marriage alliance with Black Ice sect, they didn't need to create such a scene. Lu Qianbei. A lot of cultivators called out greetings when Lu Wu Hu came. Yemo and them were ignored, as they were thought to be followers of Lu Wu Hu. A few cultivators who knew Lu Wu Hu never had followers looked at Yemo carefully and realized how wrong they were. At this moment, the ushers arranged Lu Wu Hu to sit at the front row and placed Yemo and them behind Lu Wu Hu. Lu Wu Hu just wanted to introduce Yemo, but he didn't need to anymore. More cultivators got up and walked to Yemo, greeting him. City Lord Yi. Pill King Yi. Brother Yi. Many people who didn't know Yemo all started asking around. Soon, everyone knew that this young man was the honorary city lord of Pill City and a level 7 Pill King. Knowing this, most sects came to greet Yemo, all except Lightning Cloud sect and Infinity sect. Haha, brother Yemo. If I knew you would come, I would have come with you. Jiling's familiar voice made Yemo feel warm. Jiling was an honest person and a trustworthy friend. Yemo's respect for him far exceeded that for Lu Wu Hu. The usher cultivator looked at Yemo in awkwardness and fright. Sorry, Pill King Yi. I'll arrange your seat for you again. That usher quickly brought Yemo to sit at the front row with Lu Wu Hu. Those sitting in this row were either sect leaders or great masters. Yemo nodded but didn't sit down. He pointed at Luo Fei and said, "This is my friend, Sword Valley's new sect leader, Goddess Luo." Luo Fei was shocked at how many Qian Bison masters came to greet Yemo. She just now realized how high Yemo's status was. Silently, he had reached this level already. The usher just realized he ignored another important figure. Although Luo Fei looked weak, level 7 Pill King Yi introduced her and she came with Lu Wu Hu as well. Clearly she wasn't simple. Mi Zhenxie from Sword Valley saw this and breathed easy. He didn't want the Sword Valley to lose face here. Seeing Yemo introducing Luo Fei to everyone, some people wanted to greet Luo Fei to get on Yemo's good side. But after they knew she was Sword Valley's sect leader, they all gave up on the idea. Less cultivators came to greet Yemo too. Sword Valley was annihilated by Infinity sect. Everyone knew this. No one was going to offend the 9-star sect Infinity sect for a foundation establishment state cultivator. Luo Fei sat with Yemo and Lu Wu Hu at the front row. Mi Zhenxie, Gan Liang, and them sat behind them. All the elders who greeted Yemo sat back, but Ji Ling was still talking to Yemo. Although they had discussed for an entire day last time, he still wasn't done. Brother Yi, you're really faster. You came out of solitary cultivation, and you're a hollow spirit state cultivator, Jiling said. Yemo smiled and just wanted to explain when he heard a laugh. Welcome sect leaders, elders, and Qianbei masters. Black Ice sect is honored to have you all here. An extremely handsome middle-aged man walked in with a smile. There were 6 people behind him, but the weakest was cauldron-filling state. Sect leader Yin, you're too polite. Sect leader Yin. People greeted him. Yemo knew this handsome middle-aged man was the sect leader of Black Ice sect, Yingguan. He was at least disaster transformation state power. Usually, The sect leader didn't manage sect business. It was all managed by vice sect leaders. Vice sect leaders were usually weaker cultivators who had no hopes of breaking through. Yin Guan then walked up to Lu Wuhu and saluted with his fists. Wan Bei Yin Guan greets Lu Qin Bei. Lu Wuhu smiled. The Black Ice sect set up such a scene. It couldn't just be for a marriage competition, right? Qin Bei, you're funny. Yin Guan laughed awkwardly and then walked up to Yimo and saluted with his fists. Pill City's Pill King, ye could come here. It's our great honor. Yimo smiled and stood up, saluting with his fists. Sect leader Yin, you're too kind. I heard about the good news here, so I came with Brother Lu to bring our cheer. At the same time, there are some private matters I wish to ask Black Ice sect for help. Yin Guan heard Yimo called Lu Wuhu brother and was dazed. Since when were they brothers? But he immediately said, Thank you, Pill King Yi. No matter what it is, just say it. As long as we can help, we won't reject. After this, please stay here at our sect for a few days. Yimo wanted to bring Susu and Beiwei, so of course he wasn't going to reject. He quickly saluted with his fists and thanked. The Black Ice sect can definitely help with my business. By the way, I heard South Peace State, Tin Beauty's Luo Susu and Tang Beiwei are both from your honorable sect? Yingguan was dazed. He didn't expect someone as renowned as Yimo to straight up ask about the South Peace State Tin Beauties. But he reacted soon. He heard that Pill King Yi took Ning Qingxue from the ethereal immortal pond at the tournament. Clearly, he loved beauty. Thinking about this, he smiled. Yes, they are our two core sect members. I wonder how they are now. Yimo asked. Yin Guan was more bewildered. Even he wouldn't constantly care about a core sect member. But now that Yimo asked, he could only reply, Great, they're great. Haha, Brother Yin, long time no see. Another voice sounded outside the hall. Yin Guan heard it and immediately apologized to Yimo and greeted him. This is Infinity Sect's sect leader, Yang Feiqing. The truth realization state cultivator behind him is He Ling. Mi Zhanjie gritted his teeth and said to Yimo. But as soon as he said this, a few eyes glanced over. Yimo knew that Mi Zhanjie's power was too low. There were too many powerful beings here, and they heard his sound transmission. But Yimo didn't care. He nodded and didn't talk. Instead, he studied this Yang Feiqing guy. Many of Lightning Cloud Sect's people greeted him too. Yang Feiqing was also disaster transformation state level and seemed of similar age to Yingguan. But Yimo felt this guy was much older than Yingguan. He seemed amicable, but those eagle eyes already exposed the sort of person he was. Yimo felt a surprised look glance at him. It was when Tsai. Yimo took his eyes back, but Yang Feiqing glanced his eyes over at Yimo. Although it was seemingly casual, Yimo felt it was extremely cold. So powerful. Luckily, he tricked Lu Wu here to his side, so Yimo wasn't scared of a fight. When everyone was seated, lush spirit fruit and wine was served. Yin Guan got up and saluted with his fists. Everyone here are among the biggest Qian Bison masters in our South Peace State. I thank everyone for being able to come. Other than the marriage of Infinity Sects Wen Tsai, there's something else very important. Yin Guan said slowly. Many might have guessed that not far into the future, there will be some changes that will shake South Peace State and even the entire Luoyu continent. Although we don't know what it is yet, we've set up the teleportation formation connecting the two states. Yin Guan said slowly. Many might have guessed that not far into the future, there will be some changes that will shake South Peace State and even the entire Luoyu continent. Although we don't know what it is yet, we've set up the teleportation formation connecting the two states. Then, Yin Guan looked at Yang Feiqing. Thank you, Infinity Sect's sect leader, for increasing the relationship between us and being willing to marry one Tsai goddess into our sect. Using this opportunity, I would like to announce something to everyone. In order to prevent something really happening to the South Peace State cultivation world, sect leader Yang and I propose to create a South Peace State sect alliance. Many people started discussing. They realized what this was. Almost all the 7-star and above sects were invited. Although some sects' high-level members weren't here, they'd sent representatives. The 9-star sects were fine, but some small sects began to worry. If they didn't join this alliance, would they be suppressed by 9-star sects just like Sword Valley? Sword Valley was an ancient sect and a 7-star sect, but Infinity Sect just annihilated on a whim. I agree with Sect Leader Yin and Sect Leader Yang's idea. After we build the South Alliance, it would gather the strength of us South Peace state cultivators and weld the sects together in case of sudden incidents. This would benefit all South Peace state sects. A lightning cloud sect old man got up and said. Yemo looked at this old man. He was disaster transformation state peak stage and could reach truth realization state at any time. We from Eternity Sea sect also agree. We from Earth Demon sect also agree. Some 7-star and 8-star sect didn't know what to do anymore upon seeing that some sects began supporting this. Who knew if they would be controlled after joining this alliance? No sect wanted to be ruled by someone else, especially in the cultivation realm that valued freedom. But 3 9-star sects had already agreed. Even if some sects didn't agree, no one dared to disobey. Yemo looked at Earth Demon sect strangely. Wasn't that sect only 6-star? How were they here too? The lowest standard here was to be a 7-star sect. Yemo had a bad feeling. He also killed Wei Yu from Eternity Sea sect, but only Yi Pandai knew about it. She wouldn't betray him. Seeing that more sects were going to support this, Yemo got up and smiled. Haha, today's really a good day. This was a serious topic, but Yemo's smiling ruined that serious atmosphere. If someone else did this, even if the 9-star sects didn't reproach them, their 7 and 8-star sects would come say something. But it was Yemo, and no one dared to do this. After all, his other identity was Pill City's honorary Vice City Lord. Pill City was the only 10-star power. No one dared to touch that. Haha, Pill King Yi is right. Today is indeed a good day. Yin Guan smiled. Yang Feiqing and Lightning Cloud Sect's sect leader Wang Chuan's face were green with anger, but even they didn't dare to openly attack Yemo. Now that they hadn't brought the conflict to the surface, Yemo couldn't use Pill City to fight them. But if they brought things to the surface, who knows what the 2 Pill City Lords would do? The Pill City's power wasn't just a few truth realization state elders and the 2 City Lord that they showed. Their real power was invisible. Otherwise, they wouldn't be renowned as the only 10-star city. Yemo smiled and saluted with his fists to Yin Guan. Today's a great day because it's the day goddess one chooses a husband. This is the good news, the proper business. After the proper business is over, the rest of Qian Bai's here can discuss about other big things. Otherwise, someone like me who only likes small business and paparazzi will fall asleep listening to such big news. It's really unbearable. I've long admired Goddess One's big name, so I came to see Goddess One today. Sect Leader Yin, there are quite some people like me. Shouldn't you finish the proper business first? If someone else said something as absurd as this, Yingguan would have dragged him out already, but he could only smile at this Pill City Honor Vice City Lord. Pill King Yi is right. Sect Leader Yang and Sect Leader Wang. What do you think? Yang Feiqing's eyes were ice cold. In his eyes, Yemo was a dead man. Even if he couldn't kill him here, since he dared to come to Black Ice Mountain, then don't blame him for attacking. He just didn't expect Yemo to suddenly appear here and foil his plan. Some 7 and 8-star sect core sect members were discussing how bold this Pill King Yi was, overtly rebuking the decision of 3 9-star sect leaders, and no one dared to reject. Those who didn't want to join the South Alliance were all grateful to Yemo. Yemo did something they didn't dare to do. Yang Feiqing said calmly, "Does Pill King Yi not think something that concerns our entire South Peace state cultivation world is not a big matter? Or does Pill King Yi not care about the safety of our South Peace state cultivation world?" Yemo clapped twice and laughed. "Old brother, well said. I'm an idiot. The safety of South Peace state have powerful beings like you to take care of it. But you're right, I really don't care. Your South Alliance, I don't want to join, and nor do I want to waste time here. So, Goddess One's business is big business to me." You. Yang Feiqing's face was green, but he didn't dare to do anything to Yemo. I agree to City Lord Ye's words. As for the South Alliance, those sects willing to join can discuss with each other. We from Abstruse Sound Sect don't wish to join. A middle-aged woman saluted with her fists and said, I agree with Abstruse Sound Sect's Elder Fu regarding the South Alliance. I think even if there's to be an alliance, it needs to be discussed with the Pill City City Lord. Pill City is a 10-star sect, yet they don't even know about this. Clearly, this thing isn't planned well. Our Clear Dream Mosque won't participate for now, an old nun from Clear Dream Mosque said. We from Godwind Valley agree with City Lord Yi. Another representative got up. We from Heaven Star Sect agree with City Lord Yi. Ethereal Immortal Pond. Seeing more and more people agree with Yimo, the Infinity Sect and Lightning Cloud Sect leaders' faces looked worse and worse. Even Yin Guan felt things weren't right. He didn't know about Infinity Sect and Yimo, so he accepted when Infinity Sect came to show goodwill. Now it seemed that there was great conflict between Infinity Sect and City Lord Yi. If that was the case, he really needed to reconsider. From what the audience showed, City Lord Yi had great respect and the support of many 9-star sections. Thinking about how Yimo was also brothers with Lu Wuhu, Yin Guan felt things were going the wrong direction. Haha, okay. I agree to City Lord Ye's proposal. We'll discuss the alliance later. All the guests are here today for our Black Ice Sect's marriage. How can we delay that? It's my fault, Yin Guan immediately said. Yang Feiqing also immediately got up and smiled. City Lord Yi is right. Today is the day of marriage after all. It's the bliss of Wen Tsai and our sect that she's marrying into Black Ice Sect. So today, I'm going to add bliss on top of bliss. I need to request sect leader for something else. Yin Guan breathed easy seeing that Yang Feiqing put the alliance matter aside. I heard that Black Ice Sect's Black Cloud Peak core disciple Luo Susu is both talented and beautiful, ranked as #1 in South Peace State 10 Beauties with Tsai. Our Infinity Sect's core disciple Dong Tianya is also a talented genius. So we've brought one low-grade spirit artifact and a truth spirit pill as a wedding gift, hoping to form this marriage. People immediately broke into discussion. They were astounded that the Infinity Sect was willing to pay so much. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.